Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything, but if you do, you'll be taken care of as all 3 hours get posted upon the conclusion of the show, both to iTunes, where you can go, rate, review, and share with your friends, but also to our website, ESPNTallahassee.com, and the archived audio. Email the show if you like, jcs at 979ESPNradio.com. You can find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. Don't forget the WTSM app. If you're ever having trouble with the signal, the WTSM app is devoid of all that. You should be in good shape there. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for watching the show. All right. Tomorrow we head out to Baton Rouge, and that means some recycled, as we like to say, material for you tomorrow as we use it as a travel day to go up and see whether or not Florida State, I don't want to say can make this impossible dream come true, but it certainly seemed highly unlikely, and I don't know, we're a little emboldened, right? I think, again, I look at it, I've been searching all week long for a feeling like I had at the start of last week. The feeling I had at the start of the last week, I shared with you from day one and said, feeling good about this regional, feeling very good about how they're going to play. I don't know why. I think there's a lot of pressure on Georgia. I don't think Georgia's going to handle that all that well, and if we can get into their head a little bit, it could get interesting. And then it did. Voila, made it happen. Poof, we moved on. But I can't get a feel one way or the other for this. I'm still picking LSU. If you said, hey, got to place a bet here, I'd place it on LSU. I don't think they'll be as fragile as Georgia was from the psyche standpoint. But I don't know. I'm having a real hard time counting this out because I really liked what I heard from Meat yesterday. He sounded like a confident guy and a confident hitting coach, certainly. He really likes the approach that he saw up and down the lineup last weekend, and how could you not? Obviously, you can't argue with the results, but also just those ABs, consistently good ABs up and down that lineup, guys with a plan, guys working that plan, guys believing in what they were doing. There's no reason to think, at least early on, that won't be present again. Now, maybe LSU's better, maybe LSU just executes more, maybe they don't get as many cookies to hit, and thus runs are harder to come by. Obviously, if a guy's locating instead of going belt high, middle in, throwing away into a shift and all that stuff that they did stupidly at Georgia. But, I mean, if that doesn't happen, it will be tougher. But certainly they'll step in this weekend feeling very, very confident. So we'll be going off there to cover that and be back with you on Monday. By the way, if there's a Game 3 on Monday, because of the silly scheduling and because of what we've had to do, we will be back in town for a show on Monday. So Game 3, just so you know, if it happens to go that far, is at 8:30 on Monday night. So what will happen from our end is we'll book it back to town here, do a live show, and then meet you guys out somewhere to watch, to watch said game, have a watch party of some sort. And although I worry about that because the last time we watched Florida State in prime time against LSU, it was a 3 errors on 1 play debacle in the College World Series.
Man, that is so true.
We were at the CP watching that.
That was a great atmosphere, and then
you just throw it all over the damn lot. Yeah,
it was Little League Baseball.
Yeah.
Man, I want to be more positive on it.
I'm just saying that's the last time we had to play them in prime time, and I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, that's right. That was LSU, wasn't it? But so be it. Anyhow, let's hope there is a game.
Yeah, the schedule is asinine. Let's just hope that we watch them get mobbed on the mound, whoever closes it out, JC or whoever, on Sunday night.
Woo!
And then we can drive home happy on Monday and do a victory tour show on Monday afternoon.
I don't even know. Can you imagine? We've been in need of this good news. Everything is a makeup for our football program. So every time like soccer kicks ass, softball kicks ass, track kicks ass, something other than football kicks ass, we're like, oh, we need this. We fall right back into do we need this? It's because football, supersedes everything. And when it's bad, then you just, God, it takes a village.
Well, and it's time to be selfish too, right? How does this benefit you most or me most, both of us?
Mm-hmm.
We do this thing, and we at least go the distance. Even if we don't win it, that gets us basically into July. And then football season's here.
Well, that is the belief. Over the years, it's been about surviving July. Really what it is, it's about, or getting to July, surviving June, really surviving the All-Star break. That's when you think about the All-Star Week, we go to vacation. Everybody vacations All-Star Week because there's literally the only time in the sports world that you have no games of any kind being played for like a 3-day stretch. Both in Major League Baseball, hockey's not going on, there is no football. At that point, it's barren.
But they've improved the home run derby. It's been a lot better with the format, with the tournament format over the last. I actually like that event now.
But it's not enough to carry a show.
No, of course not. But I just that used to be a throwaway event. Obviously, I think Chris Berman not calling it helps things too.
Oh, immensely. Everything's better without Chris Berman.
But I enjoy now at this. It's kind of like the dunk contest when I was younger. Before
I loved the dunk contest.
Everything was reinvented, and then it just got bad and stale. The home run derby's got some juice again.
So it is that the NBA Finals shifts in favor of Toronto, who last night really hit everything under the sun to start this game and took advantage of a beleaguered, beat-up, injury-riddled Golden State lineup. On the one hand, you don't want to take away from what Toronto's doing. Their role players have played exceptional. Kawhi's going to give you something positive every night he plays. Some nights he shoots better than others. He's always playing good defense, and he's such a presence in this series, really any series. But when you get role players who are lighting it up, and we knew Lowry would have one of these games. I said it before. Green's really added a lot more than anybody could have expected, I think. Those guys are all lighting up the lamp, if you will, and Golden State's in real trouble. If they can't get Clay back and he is unable, or if he comes back but he's half of his usual self, they're going to lose the series unless KD comes back, which I'm suspicious of. I've said all along I'm not. It doesn't feel like to me, and I can't quantify that. I'm not a doctor. But it doesn't feel like he was ever coming back to me. The way they've handled it, every time something leaks where they'll say, well, he could be available for Game 3. Well, we'll see. He's probably going to be available for Game 4. Or he may be back by Game 2 of the championship series. I mean, these are all things that have been said before. It's always followed up with a hard dose of reality. And it's usually Steve Kerr, whom I like, by the way, a lot, and who, you look at the press conferences, et cetera, he'll tell it like it is. Anyhow, he typically somehow gives away that it's not close. And the other day he did it again when they said, well, he may be available for Game 3, might be available for Game 4. He said, well, certainly for him to play, he's going to have to practice, and he hasn't practiced yet. Well, at that moment, we're all going, this injury occurred a while ago. I mean, a long time ago now, but, you're talking about, was it Game 5?
I think it was Game 5, yeah.
Whatever that was. I mean, 2 series ago?
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? And he hasn't practiced since? Not once?
I think they said he ramped up his workouts before yesterday's game. But I don't know what that means. That could be...
Got on a bike? Yeah,
right, exactly.
I have no idea. I mean, the problem with a calf, obviously, if you're a basketball player, is the whole running and jumping thing, the stop-start thing. You kind of need it, Whenever you tell me that a wide receiver or a running back has hamstring or calf issues, I go, well, what are we doing here? They're done. You can't play that way.
Well, what's crazy if you're Golden State, too, is obviously Kawhi hasn't had that game yet. I mean, last night he scores. If you look at the box score, you'd say, wow, Kawhi was a factor all night. But if you watch the game, you get into the middle of the first quarter and beyond, Kawhi's there, but he's not like the centerpiece, offensively speaking. It was about the shots that Lowry is hitting. And Green had a sequence where he hit that 3 or 4 in the second half. And it was kind of like what Quinn Cook has done for the Warriors a few times in this postseason run, where he takes it over and he thwarts any momentum that Golden State was putting together. But Kawhi's 30 last night was extremely quiet and efficient.
Well, I think that's one of the joys of watching him play his game, man. He's just quietly efficient all the time. And the next thing you know, you look in the box score and you're like, good God, man, that's another.
But he hasn't had his 45-point game yet. And that's
hasn't needed it.
Right, but it's still there for the taking.
It's out there. They may have to have it. Certainly last night they had to have it from Steph on the other side, and he provided everything he could. I thought he played heroically within the realm of sport, obviously. And there's just, listen, you get to a point where the injuries become too much to overcome. And I think they're at a place where certainly that's happening. You could argue, we'll see, they do, it's hard to beat a champion. And a lot of times champions do things that reveal exactly what it is about them that, beyond the skill. That led to those championships. There's a lot of what for. There's a lot of heart. There's a lot of moxie. There's a lot of confidence, even in role players. Just being around a championship-level team They don't go down easily. They'll fight you, even though they're on their last legs. So maybe it doesn't happen this way, but you can make an argument that if Clay doesn't come back at 100% and they don't get KD back, this turns into a boat racing. They lose the series 4-1. Toronto's getting any shot they want. I mean, that's the whole thing about kind of the problem with Golden State's injuries is not the offense. There's enough guys that can score the basketball. They don't defend the way that they famously defend when they're operating at peak efficiency. That group is an underrated group when it comes to the complexities of their defense. But Toronto's getting wide open looks, and Kawhi's smart. And so he's getting guys these open looks, and they're knocking them down. They're playing with confidence. So he dribble penetrates, kicks out. That's how many times did you see last night?
Right.
The wide open baseline three.
Right, like he turns away a 50-50 layup attempt because he's just better in favor of a corner three or a wide open look from 10 feet away, and because there was a collapse. Van Gundy said it early in the broadcast last night, something to the effect of, it's a hell of a thing when you're the more talented team and you know it. That's where Toronto is right. They know, given the injuries, they actually have more talent than Golden State does on the floor.
Yeah, I think that's true. And they play like a team that feels on the cusp of of winning a championship. They're playing in a way that they feel confident they can get this done.
They were on pace to score 120 all night last night. Once they get off to that quick start, which again I thought was coming just because you can't be down 2-1, and playing Game 4 on the road because that's the end of the series. You don't want that. Now, of course, they could have lost the game last night, but you want to have that start. You don't want to feel behind the eight ball for two straight games.
Yeah.
You've got to go get one, and it's better to do it and take the series lead than feel like, man, if we lose this Game 4 on Friday, that's it.
Fun
Our
to
chance
watch,
is
though,
gone.
man. Fun to watch. It's really cool. I wanted a compelling series. I crossed my fingers that a really likable bunch from Toronto, and they would play well. I would like to see Golden State get back healthy, though, because I don't want all of this to be tainted, and it will be. It will be. I mean, look, they don't care. The parade will still happen in Toronto. I mean, that's a franchise that's never won a damn thing. So, obviously, it doesn't really matter how you win a championship. As long as you do, you get your opportunity, you make the most of it. What, are they supposed to not play well just because the other team's hurt? I got it.
And nobody's going to cry a river for Golden State.
No. But I would like Golden State to be a little bit healthier so that it feels like Toronto overcame something of significance. This just feels like a shell of the championship dynasty that they're playing right now.
Can we also remark on, even if it's not perfectly in place with what you're talking about, the blocks last night, the bevy of
they get back.
Demasculifying blocks, whatever the word would be. Emasculating.
Yeah, they were.
I like demasculifying more.
They were depantsing. There were a lot of moments where you're like, oh, sir, don't bring that in here. There was a lot of.
The one Ibaka one was an adjustment by Draymond because he had initial contact, but there was another Ibaka and then the Danny Green one at the rim, too, that were...
you don't see that every day, too. He got back quick.
Yes, he did. Message was sent.
Yeah, no time for that. Hey, cool thing to report here. For the first time in the 21-year history of the ACC-Big Ten Challenge, we get to take on Indiana. I've been wanting that game for a very, very long time. That game will be played in Bloomington. If it weren't a random Tuesday night in December, I think I'd make the trek up there just because that's cool to play Indiana at Assembly Hall. But it is a random Tuesday night in December, and that matchup hasn't happened since 1992. We lost a game to them in the NIT in overtime.
We need a really big budget, but I want a bit where we could send you up there and we get, how Johnny Knoxville was the grandpa character? Mm-hmm. You get those makeup artists and you basically dress like a Bob Knight and you wear the red sweater.
You walk around yelling at people?
And you just ask them random questions that make no sense and yelling at them, and we just tape it and have a great time with it. I think that would be a blast.
By the way, the other matchups look like this. That Monday, December the 2nd, Clemson at Minnesota, Miami at Illinois, ho-hum. Tuesday is when we play on December the 3rd. The other matchups that night will be Duke at Michigan State. Great game. They like to do that. Florida State at Indiana. Michigan at Louisville. I like it. Ooh, that's good.
That's a tough game.
Yeah, that is. Rutgers at Pitt, whatever. Iowa at Syracuse. Oh, there's some sex appeal there. Wednesday is Nebraska at Georgia Tech. Ohio State at North Carolina is a good basketball game. Wisconsin's at NC State. Notre Dame at Maryland. Virginia at Purdue. And there you go. That's your matchup.
I'm looking forward to basketball season. This is going to be it's a tough year.
Oh, I think it's funny that you really, it's never too far from your fancy these days.
It wasn't when we first started doing this, too. I've always had some sort of love affair with FSU basketball.
Well, there's a lot to love. Certainly, back-to-back Sweet 16 appearances, an Elite 8 appearance, and a group of kids that were eminently likable, a coach that has, I think, won over an awful lot of doubters, certainly. I'm sure there are plenty. There are some people out there, and we know who they are, that will never like Leonard Hamilton for the reasons we know. But by and large, I think Leonard is a guy that has stayed here long enough and now had success in recruiting and changing styles of play and going deep into the tournament, that those who were in the past, for the right reasons perhaps, ready to move on, have now re-embraced him. I think so.
I think it's a couple of reasons. One, the look and feel of a game. When it's crowded, that building's amazing.
Place has become a really difficult place to play.
I enjoy that version of the band more than I do the Marching Chiefs, but I should say also on today specifically.
Memorial D-Day, yep.
Yeah, congratulations to the Marching Chiefs on an honor of being the only college marching band present over in Normandy on D-Day.
It's incredible, and I have been following along on all the social media accounts and watching the videos and the pictures that are being sent back, and it's moving. It's just incredible. Yeah, I'm glad you said something. It's cool. It's a hell of an honor.
I didn't realize until earlier this week I saw a news report on the local news. How about that? Watch the local news.
What in the world? Did you stumble into that?
It was a post game after the NBA Finals, but they were the only. I couldn't believe that. I figured it was some sort of program that took multiple, universities' bands over, but we got chosen, and we sent. I think it was 385 members.
It's awesome
of the Chiefs over there. That's really cool. But
the guy that is the head of the Chiefs there works out at Orange Theory. I see him all the time, and he was so excited to be going. We talked in the lobby.
David Plack?
Yeah.
He's awesome, man.
David and I are always running.
Yeah, well, he's forever running. That dude did the Marching Chiefs 5K, and he had the tuba. He carried the tuba for
He also had a knee replacement, and he's still out there doing it. He's tough.
Well, he directed the band back in 06 when I first got here, and Seminole Sound kicks ass.
Yeah.
And that was part of it. But the first thing I ever did when I arrived on campus in January of 2006 was I walked over to an FSU Virginia Tech game, and we beat them late on free throws. We made our freaking free throws.
Get you some of that.
Yes.
Anyhow, we're playing Indiana this year.
That's right.
I think it's funny that you're thinking about basketball. All I can think about right now is our crappy football program and the need to get it going because Clemson is recruiting at a rate that is going to bury us if we're not careful.
I think about that, too. It's just
bury us.
I like to focus on the winning.
We are under an avalanche of garbage. We got to get it together, Tom. I am very, very concerned and growing more so by the day because of what Clemson's doing right now. Not so much us, although there is concern there, too, but Clemson. Slow your roll, man.
There have been about 10 GD bombs in the last week where you're talking about Clemson and then looking back at us, then looking at Clemson and looking back at us.
Every day there's another story of excellence coming out of Clemson. I'm like, look at these bastards. It never ends. Every day there's a new thing. Oh, look at this. They got a 5-star here, a 5-star there. They've got 47 5-stars at the same position. It's ridiculous.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all-day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Look around. That's right, you see Nissans everywhere. Tallahassee has officially become a Nissan town, the Kraft Nissan town. Why? Because Kraft Nissan has the best pricing, best selection, and the best buying experience in town. And at Kraft Nissan, you get the best value for your dollar. With more standard features, our exclusive and the original lifetime warranty, our Easy Choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our New For You program that helps people with damaged credit, and every new Altima and Rogue we sell has both special interest rates and rebates. You get both, plus $1,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft Nissan difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
Take me out to the ball game.
Indeed. And with weather like this, it's good to see you out on this magnificent, sizable deck.
It is quite impressive. You can see it all the way from the stadium.
What a deck. What a deck indeed.
I hear that a lot.
You know, I remember, what was it, mid-90s you opened up? Place was so small.
Now it's huge.
All I know is a lot of good times have been spent on this deck. Man, people enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, they drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck.
And you can come have a Gordo smash.
Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo smash. That's a good day at the office.
Or put a Cuban in your mouth.
And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Father's Day savings at the Home Depot means more meat on the grill for less money on the table. Right now, the exclusive Next Grill 5-burner gas grill is only $169, a $199 value. With 5 burners for more even cooking and enough grilling area for 23 burgers at once, your inner chef is going to want to cook out. Today is the day for doing with the Next Grill 5-burner gas grill, just $169, now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing, while supplies last.
I'm Michael Blank, attorney with the law office of Jose Fernandez. If you've been in an accident, I know this can be a scary and confusing time. Our firm specializes in handling all types of accident and injury cases. Let us guide you through the process and get you the compensation you deserve. Call 855-HOSE-305 to make an appointment for your free consultation today. If you can't come to us, we can come to you, day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, the law office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid unless you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. Se habla español. JRFinjury.com.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
That subject of it. I'm going to have to start taking my own advice on across the board. Just say Marvin Wilson about everything. It used to just be with the offensive line. Now it's just every time I talk about Clemson. I'm just going to say Marvin Wilson.
I don't know. We'll see about that.
Well, it was brought on by the Bill Connolly article where basically, and it's a great article, and you can read it. And you know, I love when you do the previews, but the S&P and all that stuff. And it's just...
You going to be okay?
They've got something for you across the board. And even if the defense takes a step back, and most assuredly it has to when you lose that many defensive linemen, but their offense is going to be ungodly this year. So
you mentioned something earlier today when we were doing prep that they have 4 senior offensive linemen. Is that right?
That is correct. That's the other problem you have is they have 4 senior offensive linemen of the 5 up front there. And
they've done a good job of staggering offensive line and defensive line purges so they don't happen at the same time. That would be quite helpful to your chances.
Yeah, some of that's just a little luck, right? I mean, they would have had problems, but all of those guys said, I'm coming back.
Yeah, the Power Rangers, yeah.
It's bizarre. That front 6-7 is going to be good, even though it won't be, I guess you would describe it, otherworldly a year ago. It will be very, very good this year, too. They've recruited well, Tom. They've seemingly recruited very well.
Well, they develop. It's a 2-part process, and they do both of those very, very well.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
Marvin Wilson.
It's a hell of a thing. They also have the best quarterback in the country. Okay.
Marvin Wilson.
Pretty loaded at wide receiver and running back. Pretty good situation they find themselves in there.
Here, buddy, I'll help you. I got something for you.
Go ahead.
Susie, I was from Philly, but they got rid of me, so I'm going with the Giants.
Let's see if
yeah, man. It's we're gonna need lots of things like that. Lots of moments where we can have, you know what makes me happy, at least for now. And we'll see. I don't know. Probably find a way to blow this. But the Pirates currently lead the Braves 6-1 in the 9th inning. And I like telling Braves fans that, as the Pirates also beat the Braves last night.
The Pirates keep pounding on the Braves.
Good thing we got the Braves to come into town. Man, we needed to get right. We got right with the Braves coming into town.
Bend over.
I shouldn't say that. Now they've got 2 runners on. It happened as soon as I did say
it. Is.
Yeah, here comes the 5-run 9th to tie it. I could see it happening. We were also up sizably the other night and ended up getting boat raced. Now, it wasn't all in the 9th, but just something to note there. Plenty of day baseball games. It's that time, buddy. It's that time. We're going to use that trip to Baton Rouge to cleanse our mind of anything football related. We're going to go watch some baseball. We're going to have a good time there. I'm looking forward to it. If you Knowles are out there that are regular listeners making the trip, you can hit me up on Twitter if you're in Baton Rouge this weekend, and maybe we'll see you out and about. Looks like we're going to be checking out a lot of the local spots that I like authenticity. I want to, the places that the locals frequent, not necessarily the names, but just hey, you want to know about a little hidden place on the bayou here? Go over here, that kind of place. That's where I want to go.
Bring a gun, but if you make it out, you'll have a great time.
You did have somebody tell you about this one place that's supposed to be spectacular, but you need to go at certain times.
Go during the day.
It's a little
and
shaky.
Get it to go because there's no place to sit and eat, but people line up out the door. Yes, we're going to have to stop there.
Well, yeah, any place that is so good that people are willing to put their lives in peril to go eat there, it's, got to be damn tasty.
It's got to be.
Yeah, I don't walk around afraid. Let's go. Let's go have some fun. Go eat some good food. Go watch the Knowles win at Alex Box Stadium. You can see the football stadium from across the way from if you're looking out.
Yeah, right behind home plate.
The football stadium we don't get to play in because we've decided to ship off the game to New Orleans, right?
Yes, that's right. I had forgotten about that. I had totally forgotten about that game.
Yeah, I think that's right. Right? Didn't we do that?
Wow. All I had in my mind was obviously the Boise, and then the Georgia home and home that we had signed a month ago.
Now that is a legitimate home and home.
Yeah,
that many moons from now is going to happen, and we do this. This is what happens. We get into these ruts. But if you want to fancy the 2020 schedule, Tom, we play West Virginia, but not at West Virginia. No, of course not. It's in Atlanta that we play that game. We do play at Boise State, and that game will be legitimately there. The LSU game, when did we sign for that? What's the deal there?
Looks like last year we had signed up for it. It's 2022 and 2023. I completely forgot about that.
I don't know why that's not included on the list there. I was looking at...
Yeah, it's New Orleans and Orlando instead of Baton Rouge and Tallahassee.
Really? Read that story.
Aloud? For the people?
Yeah, for the people. What did they... I'm looking at a schedule.
The Florida State team reportedly has agreed to a neutral site series with LSU that will see the Seminoles make their second appearance in Orlando's Camping World Kickoff Stadium.
No.
In 2023. FSU and LSU have agreed to play 2 neutral site opening games beginning in 2022 in New Orleans, according to a report from college football reporter Brett McMurphy.
I will say this. I absolutely love the city of New Orleans, and I will go to those games, of course. I could do without Orlando, I suppose, although we have a huge following.
Dateline was August of last year. That's from the Sentinel and Safid, who used to work for the Orlando Sentinel on the Florida State beat.
Yeah, I remember being excited when the whispers came out. Now, we do have an administration hell-bent on trying to get this right with the schedule and playing true home and homes, and I bet you in the not-too-distant future we'll get an announcement on that front, as we've already added Georgia, and I know several other negotiations.
Come on, man. Tell me we're going to Austin, Texas.
I would love to tell you that, and I hope it's true at some point. I feel like that's going to happen at some point. We think back at how glorious it was. I made the trip out to Norman, Oklahoma, and that was a lot of fun. I know we got absolutely housed, but those were great fans. And, of course, we remember the game here. But home and home is where it's at, and I've been a champion for that for a long, long time. It's all about the college experience and experiencing what other fan bases are like in their home environment there and seeing what other universities have to offer and what tailgates are like. But I thought right after that Oklahoma series, we need to do this with Texas. We need to do this with Texas. And if we talk about future plans, Georgia seemed logical, certainly is. LSU always seemed logical because we used to play them back in the day. Auburn does as well. Auburn chickened out and ran from us the one time and backed out of a game. But I would love to sign a home and home with an Auburn. I'd love to sign a home and home with an LSU. Home and home. I love New Orleans. It's great. Let's play there. Let's play in that stadium.
This will be the closest I've been to New Orleans ever. For this weekend's trip. But since I don't have to wait that much longer, we'll skip it, hop over it, and I'll just wait till 2022, I guess.
By the way, I love my fellow degenerate gamblers. A mutual friend of ours, regular listener of the show, heard me speaking of our trek to Baton Rouge and my mention of Biloxi and promptly reached out to me to hand me a ticket that he wants me to cash while we're in Biloxi.
Oh, really?
He won. Yeah, he took Brooks Koepka.
Okay.
Yeah, won some good money.
Are you taking a courier fee?
I told him I would cash that and use $20 from it to bet as I please, and he said that's fine.
Very nice.
But he also wants me to place 2 more bets for him. I love it. I was like, okay.
I will do the same as the courier's assistant. And I'll put 20 on red or black. Your choice, friend.
He actually told me the specific numbers that he wants. He actually does want us to do that.
Oh, really?
I'll let you do that. That'll be fun, and maybe you'll provide him good luck. And I'll make you want me to do it?
No, it's fine. Maybe with other people's money, I could start a karma thing for me because I don't have very much luck on the tables.
So what do you do if you win? Does the next roll become Tom Wang's roll, or is that still my friend's money?
It's my friend's money until I don't give it to my friend and I claim there's a loss.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachian Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the Buffalo Ranch Chicken Strip Sandwich.
You asked for it, and it's back.
We got 3 chicken strips, 2 slices of Monterey Jack cheese, topped with Whataburger's own buffalo sauce, a little bit of buttermilk ranch, all between a toasted bun.
Chicken sandwich on its own is good. Chicken sandwich with buffalo sauce is fantastic. It really wakes up the chicken sandwich.
It's crunchy, and then it's spicy, and then it's cool. Your mouth is exploding with flavor.
Whataburger's Buffalo Ranch Chicken Strip Sandwich. That's back, and it's only here for a limited time.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents and Doug.
Limu, there's a woman threatening to sign up for generic car insurance. Grab your birdseed and let's go.
I'm gonna sign these papers right here, right now.
Ma'am, drop the pen. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Thanks, Limu, Emu, and Doug.
Don't thank us, thank Liberty Mutual. But also thank us.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer. State laws apply.
Metro Deli in downtown Tallahassee congratulates the baseball team on winning the Athens Regional. Metro Deli, home of downtown Tallahassee's best breakfast and lunch Mondays through Saturdays. MetroDeliTally.com. Good luck in Baton Rouge.
O'Reilly. Need a specialized tool to finish your vehicle repair? There's no need to buy it if you're only going to use it once. Check out O'Reilly Auto Parts Loaner Tool Program, available at any O'Reilly store. Find tools like a ball joint press, disc brake caliper tool set, and more. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Take me out to the ball game.
Indeed. And with weather like this, it's good to see you out on this magnificent, sizable deck.
It is quite impressive. You can see it all the way from the stadium.
What a deck. What a deck indeed.
I hear that a lot.
You know, I remember, what was it, mid-90s you opened up? Place was so small.
Now it's huge.
All I know is a lot of good times have been spent on this deck. Man, people enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, they drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck.
And you can come have a Gordo smash.
Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo smash. That's a good day at the office.
Or put a Cuban in your mouth.
And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. When the Warriors and Raptors reconvene for Game 4 in the NBA Finals tomorrow night, the defending champs expect Klay Thompson will be available. And they're optimistic Kevin Durant will be too. But the Raptors now lead the series 2-1, and ESPN's Richard Jefferson wonders if the Warriors still have time to get this figured out.
This is a Raptors team that is playing very well. They're not playing great, but they're playing good basketball. And once you get yourself into, we got to win 2 out of 3, or the Raptors have to win 1 out of 2, it can be Van Vliet hitting 6 threes. It could be Kyle Lowry just having one good game. So I don't want to say luck is not the right word, but it's just, it could not be your night, and it could just be their night. That's why typically in a 7-game series, the best teams win. But here, this is one of those things because of so many different situations, it could be difficult to figure out who's going to come out on top.
Richard Jefferson on Golick and Wingo will have Game 4 coverage tomorrow night starting at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ABC, and the ESPN app. There will be a first-time women's Grand Slam champion in Paris. Today in the quarterfinals, 17-year-old American Amanda Anisimova takes out defending champ Simona Halep in straight sets. Ashley Barty beat American Madison Keys in straight sets. The men's semifinals will feature the top 4 seeds in the draw after Novak Djokovic and Dominic Thiem won their quarterfinal matches today. Mets second baseman Robinson Cano will be evaluated again today after leaving last night's game with a tight left quad. It was his first game off the injured list for the same injury. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight in Boston. The Bruins and Blues tied at 2. Bruins defensemen Zdeno Chara and Matt Grzelcyk will both be game-time decisions.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
3 o'clock Saturday, LSU, Florida State, Game 2, 6 o'clock Sunday, ESPN2. That Saturday game is on ESPN. Game 3, if necessary, at 8:30 p.m. First pitch on Monday night to be shown on ESPN. We will be back here on that Monday if that game happens, and we'll turn that into a watch party. Of course, LSU fans got to be elated because they could have well been on their way, obviously, to Georgia, where they lost 2 out of 3 during the regular season. But Florida State showed up and pounded Georgia and easily won that regional. So they host, and I did get a chuckle out of one preview, read several so far this week, but this paragraph is great. As crazy as it sounds, the key to stopping Florida State might be to slow down the bat of outfielder Tim Becker. Becker entered the regional round with only 4 RBIs to his name and no home runs. He then hit 3 home runs and drove in 7 in 2 games. That is still so fairy tale and beautiful, huh?
Yeah, my favorite stat was that he had more appearances in games than he had at bats before this regional started last week. That's nuts. That's really, really hard to do in baseball.
Yeah, LSU's pitching staff have had a lot of injuries this year. I don't know a lot about LSU other than what I'm reading, but they've had to overcome a lot of injuries this year. And let's hope they're not, feeling real confident.
It's a 4-game sample set, but you could say that Florida State offensively is playing its best baseball of the season because the way they finished against NC State, which is a top 20 or 25 RPI team, depending upon where you look. And then what we did with FAU as a 2 seed and then Georgia back-to-back games as a number 1 seed and the number 4 overall national seed, I think it's safe to say that as far as college baseball can go, you got tested by as good at pitching and as good at teams as you possibly could be in this time of year. And we've come up roses every single time.
It's a beautiful thing. But Greg doesn't care anything about that. He wants to talk about soccer, and he sent us an email. And we do read the emails, and they get sent to me, and so I read them. That one was just sent to me, so I'll read it because I think it's funny. You're obsessed, Greg. Sorry, guys, I've got soccer on my mind. The FSU soccer schedule came out today. How do you think the Noles will do as they head into the season to defend their second national championship? They'll play very well. They'll have an outstanding season, Greg, and I'll give themselves an opportunity there to defend that title.
They're going to make the College Cup.
Just a hunch.
Is my bold endeavor.
Just a hunch. The Marching Chiefs are in France. We mentioned that. And so is the U.S. women's national team. The Women's World Cup starts tomorrow. The U.S. plays in a group with Thailand, Chile, and Sweden. How far can the U.S. make it? Well, they'll win that grouping. They'll win that grouping, Greg. Now, are they going to defend their title? Is that what you're asking me? I don't know. France looks awfully strong.
Yes, that's the one sentence I read other than the one sentence I read about the World Cup is that France is the top contender, yes.
Yeah. Now, you like that analysis right there? I went straight into it. They'll win their grouping, but France is going to be tough to overcome.
So the national team and Coach Krikorian's group are both going to make it to
both
semifinals or the final.
Bare minimum.
Yeah.
Both do very well. And then finally he writes, have you all been able to make it out to the Tallahassee Soccer Club game yet? Yes, I have. I went to the inaugural game. I'm very good friends with Chris Petley, the owner and founder of the Tallahassee Soccer Club, and they are great. The Battle Lions are fun. They're 3-1-1. I know that right now, and I do pay attention to that, and I'm rooting for that to succeed. I was one of the early people that he met with that idea. Not that I came up with that. That was his idea on his own, and he worked very hard to make that happen, but I've been rooting for him and helping him find support every step of the way.
And one other footnote on FSU Soccer and Coach Krikorian's group, they are a first-class group because we were able to be sponsors. We had the honor of being a sponsor.
Yes, I got it right here.
Yeah, he's got the card for the YouTube stream, but that was Kicking It for Autism in support of FSU Card, which is the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities.
Wrote us a very nice card to both you and me and thanking us for our support, and they signed all of that. Yeah, they are first class. They also have put together one of the most consistently awesome products that FSU has to offer annually. I mean, we are very fortunate. And I'll be, on a serious note, and thanks for your email, Greg. On a serious note, my fear about the financial situation at Florida State, there's a misnomer there. Somebody said that I poo-pooed the idea of Florida State's finances and being at a deficit. No, what I did was say that the football team is not underfunded, that we're not I know people are concerned, and understandably so, and I'm always concerned about finances, given that we got such a late start compared to those that we're tasked with defeating and finding ways to compete with on a national level. Just the relative newness of this university means we don't have enough or a bounty of super rich alumni who've then gone on to retire and have kids and give back the way that many schools who are much older do. No. I just want our fan base to know that Florida State football is not going to be – they're not going to skimp out on that because they understand that's what drives the bus. The things I worry about are soccer and softball and track and tennis. And why? Well, because that's where not being able to pay your coaches comes back to haunt you when they ask for a raise for, I don't know, winning national championships or annually competing to do so, and you can't afford to do that because your budget has been tightened up, and then they take a job elsewhere. And those programs, which have been exceeding annually and been the pride of every Knoll that you run into these days, will go by the wayside because we can't keep up with the Joneses financially. You're seeing it in our baseball search to some extent. Now, I will be fine with Mike Martin Jr. getting that job, but the reality of that situation is that while that search may or may not be a sham, may or may not be an actual search, I know there is a committee, I know they're doing interviews, the truth is your pool is severely limited, and that any of the big-name coaches at premier programs that, let's say, put their name in the hat, and I mentioned yesterday at TCU, that's out there, are making over $1 million. So they're not legitimate candidates because we're not going to pay our baseball coach over $1 million. How about this? It's highly unlikely that we would pay our baseball coach over $1 million. And that's why I've thought from the beginning that the odds-on favorite, overwhelming favorite, is Mike Martin Jr. So to the point of financial constraint and getting our house in order, which is what the new athletic director is tasked with doing, where it hurts you, it's not going to be in football. Where it hurts you, it's going to be in all those other sports where maybe we can't afford to retain a Coach Krikorian.
It's funny, we've had this discussion several times and have probably said this line bluntly once or twice ourselves, but in reading all of the comments, whether it's the Democrats reporting or War Chant, the in-depth interviews they do with President Thrasher and then David Coburn, they had the series that came out last week. I encourage you to go find it if you haven't read it yet. But it all boils down to a very simple truth. We have to win football games. If we win football games...
everybody gets taken care of.
Well, the money will be here. But if we don't win football games... I mean, he could do everything in the world correctly. David Coburn could. But if we win 5 games again this year, there's nothing he can do. Like, he's screwed.
Yeah, people don't renew season tickets to watch a team go out and get their head kicked in against anybody who's decent. So, no, and especially when the home schedule's not great. So, you're right. You got to win games. And that's why they're not going to be... chintzy when it comes to the football program. They're not going to cut a recruiting budget. I mean, we gotta win games.
Yeah, it's not like Major League where a prop plane comes out and there's like a sticker that says Knowles on it, and that's what we're using to jettison around the country to go look at the best recruits in the nation.
Tom, I want you to know as we round out the hour here that the Pirates defeated the Braves. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Some people want good news. Some people like to hear the good things that happen on a daily basis. Yeah! I didn't seek out Braves fans at the start of this series. They sought me out as the lone Pirate that they could kick in the area. And then, we won those last 2 games. Today, handily, 6-1. Just a beating. You guys got to come up there and give us some competition. Boys.
Yeah, we're within 2 of 500 now. We took a series over the Giants. I'm very proud of us.
You got to be happy when the Giants come to town. My God, what an awful team.
We blew the first game.
Yeah.
Mickey Callaway has cost the Mets at least 5 games this season by my count. And I'm pretty conservative about these things.
Yeah. 5 already?
5.
Cost you the game?
Yes. Management decisions. Like the thing he's tasked with doing.
I like that you're that locked in, though, my man. You're watching that sub-500 team enough to know that dude's costing you games.
I lock in enough to where the next day when I see it went wrong in the 7th or the 8th inning, I go, okay, what was he working with? And what were the facts at the time? And what did he do? And sometimes, if a pitcher's at 110 and he's rolling, sorry, that's just the nature of the game today. It sucks, but you got to yank him. But if you have, option A and option B, and you are consistently choosing the wrong option, and you've got no track record to speak of, you don't have 40-plus years of making the playoffs
you
fall
don't
back
get the
on.
benefit of the doubt.
You get the hell out of here.
Hey, as an aside, congratulations to Cade Weldon, former Miami quarterback down there. He's decided to transfer to ETSU.
Hey,
all right. Little Johnson City Magic, Cade. ETSU announcing today that they're getting him and another quarterback, Chance Thrasher, who was at Coastal Carolina, are headed over to ETSU. So Weldon, yes, son of Casey Weldon, played 4 games for Miami in a reserve role, and he's going to say, I'm going to take it to ETSU. Play well, sir.
Is that still Randy Sanders' program?
Uh-huh.
There was
well, yeah, a little hiccup there, but he's all right.
Was it legit? I don't remember what the specifics were. It's not good radio to just bring that up out of nowhere. It's a very obscure story.
Well, it certainly caught our attention, but I think that got worked out. I think everything's okay. And he did well.
I liked Randy. I don't know.
I loved him.
If that was because he was more likable than Jimbo because everybody is, or if he was like genuinely likable. But he seemed as...
His interviews were always my favorite during ACC media days because he would sit right across from you, look in the eye, and give you an honest answer about whatever it was you asked. Speaking of which, it won't be long now it's next month, until we're off to the ACC kickoff in Charlotte. This will be an interesting one to go to. I know you're going this year. I'm going. I go every year. This will be a good one because, I'm really intrigued to see how Willie, I guess, responds to 5 and 7 and the questions he's going to get. Last year, it was interesting to watch him. This will be fascinating. Not only to talk to him, but to see how he interacts with the rest of the media. And this is really going to be the Clemson show. I mean, this is all going to be about that team that is being hyped in a way, and we'll talk a lot about them today, but they're being hyped in a way that, say, the 2015 Ohio State team was. And, I mean, we're just going on and on.
It'll be about the TV network, too. I'm sure
of course.
The talent will be there for interviews, right? You would think EJ will be there.
EJ will be there. And
EJ Manuel, ACC Network analyst.
Well, they'll be pumping the hell out of that ACC Network, and hopefully by then they have an announcement. These things do go down to the wire, and we know that both sides are working on leverage, but at some point the twisting of the arm happens from Disney, and I would like to see Xfinity, Comcast if you will, get in line.
I have to reach out and make sure with our media brethren. I don't think they put out the request list yet, but I'm looking for, in slot 1, priority 1, Steve Adazio, 6:15 a.m. sharp, sir.
With the pastry, baby, and we'll follow it up with Dabo.
I'm going to bring a pastry for Adazio this year as a gift.
Well, remember, he lost all that weight.
It's okay.
So he may shun you.
Coach, you asked me years ago if I had a pastry, and I felt bad because I think you wanted one.
And our host was running late.
So for those 2 reasons, we present to you a pastry.
It wasn't really my fault. That coffee was slow in coming from the Starbucks. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
There it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with Easy Laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's Easy Laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for a 120 on sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com. Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Cigars of Tally is your one-stop shop for everything cigars. With 2 convenient locations, Cigars of Tally is here to serve you. The 1401 Market Street location is right off I-10 and great for travelers and after-work stops. The Midtown location, Cigars of Tally Lounge and Bar at 926 North Monroe Street, is great for those winding down from a long day. With the largest humidor in town, affordable cigar lockers, a large covered patio, and private conference rooms, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Cigars of Tally, open 7 days a week. Need cigars? Get your ash in here.
Lane's Medical Shop has all of your home medical needs. They carry home oxygen, hospital beds, nebulizers, walkers, wheelchairs, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and all sleep apnea supplies. Lane's also has a weight loss clinic in-house, no appointment necessary, including B12 injections and any prescriptions necessary with the lowest prices around, and delivers to Tallahassee and South Georgia. Located only 40 miles from Tallahassee, go see Blake today, 210 West Main Street, Colquitt, Georgia, 229-758-9111.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. When the Warriors and Raptors reconvene for Game 4 in the NBA Finals tomorrow night, the defending champs expect Klay Thompson will be available. And they're optimistic Kevin Durant will be too. But the Raptors now lead the series 2-1, and ESPN's Richard Jefferson wonders if the Warriors still have time to get this figured out.
This is a Raptors team that is playing very well. They're not playing great, but they're playing good basketball. And once you get yourself into we got to win 2 out of 3 or the Raptors have to win 1 out of 2, it can be Van Vliet hitting 6 threes. It could be Kyle Lowry just having one good game. So I don't want to say luck is not the right word, but it's just it could not be your night, and it could just be their night. That's why typically in a 7-game series, the best teams win. But here, this is one of those things because of so many different situations, it could be difficult to figure out who's going to come out on top.
Richard Jefferson on Golick and Wingo will have Game 4 coverage tomorrow night starting at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ABC, and the ESPN app. There will be a first-time women's Grand Slam champion in Paris. Today in the quarterfinals, 17-year-old American Amanda Anisimova takes out defending champ Simona Halep in straight sets. Ashley Barty beat American Madison Keys in straight sets. The men's semifinals will feature the top 4 seeds in the draw after Novak Djokovic and Dominic Thiem won their quarterfinal matches today. Mets second baseman Robinson Cano will be evaluated again today after leaving last night's game with a tight left quad. It was his first game off the injured list for the same injury. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight in Boston. The Bruins and Blues tied at 2. Bruins defensemen Zdeno Chara and Matt Grzelcyk will both be game-time decisions.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. Hope you're well. Appreciate you joining us on this Thursday. Good job, by the way. I know we don't usually do this at the top of the hour, but I just got another reminder as the inbox gets filled up with all of the submissions to perhaps win 10 free classes at Orange Theory. It's on the website right now. Go to ESPNTallahassee.com and register. You'll see the Jeff Cameron Show logo paired with the Orange Theory Fitness logo. And the fine folks at Orange Theory, who I swear by and really, really enjoy their workouts, me and my wife, we've partnered up, as you guys know, but they're offering a chance just through a drawing. You just got to give basic information to win 10 free classes, which I can assure you is quite the value. So we've had a lot of submissions, and I want you guys to get those in today and tomorrow, and early next week we'll draw. It's going to be one of 3 different drawings we do, so the summer months are going to give us a chance to give away an awful lot. So I thank Orange Theory, but I thank you guys because, man, that thing's filling up. Good job. Just go to the website. Tom put it all together, ESPNTallahassee.com.
It's right there.
Can't miss it. Right on the front page.
It's right freaking there.
Take you 2 seconds, and you may win something of great, great value, like 10 free classes, which I'll tell you this: if you take 10 classes, you're going to sign up. You're going to go. It's because you'll see the effects. It's pretty amazing. I'm going to be a runner, Tom. Don't look now. I'm going to be.
This
a
is
runner.
odd.
Yeah, I know. So
you're going to hit 50 years old, and
no,
you're going to be like,
I'm 48. I'll be 48.
I know.
Oh, you're saying you're projecting it.
I'm projecting you're going to be about 175 because you're going to be a runner guy.
Well, I'm not tackling anybody anymore. There's no reason for me to be big. Let's get down there. Let's get to 175. My God, I haven't weighed 175 since junior year of high school. Like maybe beginning of senior year.
Yep,
maybe.
there you go. You're going to be 175.
I tell you what I do miss. I miss the ability to eat anything you want to eat when you want to eat it and as much as you want to eat and not gain weight. I remember the efforts to gain weight like it was yesterday, and luckily I had a job at an ice cream shop at the Don Cesar. I made the greatest peanut butter and banana shakes you have ever had. I would make banana splits the size of Texas. It would take me a half an hour to eat the chocolate peanut butter.
Yeah.
With the bananas and the strawberries, and I piled it on. It was incredible.
So when I worked at the golf course, old Landsbrook Golf Club in Palm Harbor, and I was the kitchen bar back, prep chef, all that stuff. The head chef knew that he was going to get canned, that they were going to close the full-time kitchen.
So did he say, take all the food, Tom?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
That
and
is
so I could prep whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted.
Isn't that incredible? Nothing. And when you're a broke kid, man, I used to have to go across, well, we called it the 10-cent toll, but, you know, you go out there past Tierra Verde on your way to St. Pete Beach, and I had to pay that toll every time, and I was broke. I think it was a quarter back then. Might have been 50 cents. But, and that led to some ill-advised decisions that eventually got me fired. But anyhow, it was a Pac-Man machine. Come on. Anyhow, I never told that story.
No.
Oh, I got fired from my ice cream job. Because I stole money out of the Pac-Man machine.
Oh, my God.
I haven't told you that story?
No, I'm sure you have. I'm sure longtime listeners know this one quite well.
Well, I'm not.
You just took quarters out of the machine?
Kind of. So,
oh, my God.
Listen, here's the deal. I didn't have the toll money always, and I would forget it, and then that's a problem. And back then, it was a huge process. You had to fill out all this stuff just to go through the toll. It was ridiculous. So my Volkswagen Bug, I would drive out there every day, and I'd have to pay that damn toll. And I got tired of forgetting quarters or not having quarters. And the Pac-Man machine in the ice cream store at the Don Cesar, it had a way where you could slide like your driver's license or anything thin.
A card.
Yeah, a card of some kind. You could slide it underneath the little lock thingy, and it would open up. Now, originally, I figured this out because I wanted to play free games while the store was closed.
I knew that part of the story.
That part, yeah. So I would just load it up with credits because I knew where the credit button was. But temptation got the best of me. I'm not proud of this, but I am transparent here. So I would grab a handful of quarters occasionally for the week.
Just a handful?
Just a hand. No, seriously, because I knew they were going to check the quarters, so you can't take like $200 out of there. That's your ass. But I would take like, I don't know, a week's worth of quarters. And I would use that as my toll. And I thought it was rightfully mine, Tom. I felt like
it's not the same as the register.
Yeah. I was like just taking a few quarters to pay the toll. So
never more than you needed, right?
Never more than that's true. Never more. I'm laughing, but it's true. I would take 10 quarters. I'd take 10 quarters. I'd be all right, this will get me to and fro, and I'll be all right. But I didn't know the lady that ran the ice cream place knew her numbers, man. She knew how much on average they made in quarters on that Pac-Man machine during the months.
Suddenly we've had a 20% drop-off in quarters.
She actually called me into the office. I was a good worker. Other than the stealing of quarters, I was a really good worker. And I got a lot of shifts because I was a good worker. And she says to me one day, I need to talk to you. And it wasn't that good tone either. And so I go, all right. So I go back there, and she just was straight up gangster. She goes, are you stealing quarters out of the Pac-Man machine? I mean, just straight up with it. I was real. That's a punch to the nose.
No time.
That's a punch to the nose.
I
lied. I quickly lied and said, no, I'm not.
You were Gene Hackman.
No, I'm not. I just realized you were referencing the kitchen. Did you just call me?
Yes. Lieutenant Bombs.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
No.
So then.
But if I did.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't do anything about it. Yeah. So she looks at me and goes, she says that, and I go, no, I didn't. And we're just looking at each other, and she goes, well, the reason I ask is, and then she had it broken down. She told me how many quarters she gets at, each time of the day, and then she equated that to my shift. And then she was saying, like, on average, and she's been noticing there's a decrease of about 10 to 20 quarters. It was ridiculous. Now, think about how ridiculous that is. I mean, I give her credit. She knows her business.
She had it on film and was just making this up.
This is the 80s, man. People didn't have cameras everywhere. Well, that's not the way the world worked. We were innocent back then. I mean, this is...
Except when we were taking quarters out of the Pac-Man machine.
Well, right, but this is like before the Tylenol murders and stuff. We didn't have safety caps on bottles of pills. We didn't have... People just came and went. They were good. You could get on an airline, light up a cigarette, not worry anything about it, buddy. You could do whatever. So I took some quarters, but this woman knew. And she just, I don't know if somebody told on me. I think it was a coworker. I think a coworker told on me.
You had multiple people during the shift?
Oh, yeah.
You took the quarters in front of a coworker?
Yeah, but we were friends. I figured everything was good.
Buddy.
I made that person shakes. But I think they rolled on me. I do. All these years later, I think they rolled on me because she was too specific. She just seemed to have a real good sense.
Well, and you know what happened? She noticed it, and she asked the other person because she probably trusted the other person more. And then the other person said, who do you think?
Who do you think? Like I'm some delinquent.
Well, I mean, you're making shakes. And you're making yourself at home.
It was I couldn't believe it. But she was, actually, her retort was even better than mine because I denied it. And then she goes, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to call the cops and you can explain yourself. And I just looked at her and then she goes, or you can resign. You can quit. We'll just consider it a closed matter. And then I said, well, I don't want to work at a place where I'm accused of these things.
Oh, you know what? I remember that part of it. Oh, my God. Indignant to the end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I never owned it. I was like, I don't want to work at a place where I could be accused like that.
Oh. That would be infuriating as a manager, would it not?
That's why I did. I mean, I couldn't let her have the final. I was 17 or 16, whatever I was.
Good day, sir.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. And then I got up and I handed her my bib. And
here's my bib.
Here's my bib.
I'm the heck out of here.
Yeah,
here's my bib.
Here's my bib. But I did. I told her, I was like, I don't want to work.
How many quarters is that worth?
I don't want to work at a place where I'm going to be accused of this thing that I clearly did. Yeah.
You wonder where Clark gets it.
Yeah, I'm not proud of that. That happened. The good old Don Cesar. That store is still there, and I bring it up a lot because I am nostalgic of it. I went and had ice cream there the last time I was down in St. Pete.
You know, TPE put on Twitter yesterday that if the kids discover archived audio, I mean, this would be right at the top of the list.
There's a price to pay for being an open book, man. Well, here's the thing. The judgment that comes sweeping down from the emailers and listeners, and they've never made poor choices or did something that they're not proud of. Of course not.
My
I was broke.
My vigilante justice was very innocent compared to taking quarters out of a Pac-Man machine.
Well, that's just straight stealing. Yeah,
I hated, but I don't know. I just had a real problem with people who would, with their lockers, right?
Right.
They turn the lock to the combination so when they came back, they could
All
just
they
pull
had
it
to do is
down.
pull it? Yeah. You stole the
It defeats
locks?
the whole purpose.
Right, of course it does.
Yeah, so I'd take the locks off during class when I go to the bathroom, and I'd chuck them on the roof of the building. So they'd have to pay $5 for a new
Robin Hood over here. Why did you do that?
It just pissed me off.
Pissed you off.
It's the cool thing.
I'll
That's just
show
cool.
you. How about this,
I don't want to
Steve?
put locks in my locker.
Get
It's
you
like,
some
just
of
put the
this.
damn lock on your locker. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Why would you do that? It defeats the purpose.
Right.
This is bothering me so
So I
much.
said, you
I'm
don't
going to
deserve
teach you a
this.
valuable lesson.
I'm going to chuck your... So you're going to have to go into your mom and dad's, $10,000 in cash that they have on hand at all times for $5.
You don't deserve this.
No one does, so it goes on the roof.
I love it. You're representing the school in that situation.
And they knocked down those buildings last year. I'll bet they found a lot of
They're
locks.
like, why are all these locks up here? Let's go to the tape. Look at Tom Lang. Justice of the locks.
2 and 3 at a time to start the semester.
Get you some of this, boys. Everybody, what's going on with the lockers? Tom Lang's what's going on with the lockers. What's going on with this Pac-Man machine? It seems to be devoid of the normal amount of quarters. It's taking these quarters.
You'd also get a detention if there was not a lock on your locker. So I'm sure I got some people
you got some
detention.
people sitting in detention. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
So if you're watching the game last night, you saw the fan push Kyle Lowry. I always root for players to punch fans in the face. I want to see it happen more frequently.
Especially if their name is Drake.
Well, that I root for on the regular. But, no, I think any fan that is pushing an athlete and, is forced to suffer the consequences, that's grand entertainment for the rest of us, and it's a comeuppance that's well-deserved. I don't know how rich, drunk fans sitting courtside or practically on top of the field, feel that kind of entitlement. It's crazy. Every time I see it, I'm thinking, man, I really hope you get punched. I want it to happen. I want people to get hit in the face repeatedly. I want people to be aghast as they're watching a player pulverize a fan. So we can just sit back and laugh forevermore. We'll have that on rotation forevermore. And then all of a sudden, it hits everybody. Oh, yeah, these dudes are huge. And they didn't do anything wrong. They're playing their sport. And I had the gall, the temerity to think that hey, you're interrupting my view. What are we doing? But it didn't happen. Turns out that fan is the minority owner of the Golden State Warriors, and they've banned him for the rest of the finals. He pushed Kyle Lowry. You can find that online. Quote, Mr. Stevens' behavior last night did not reflect the high standards that we hope to exemplify as an organization. We're extremely disappointed in his actions. Along with Mr. Stevens, we offer our sincere apology to Kyle Lowry and the Toronto Raptors organization for this unfortunate misconduct. There's no place for such interaction between fans or anybody and players at an NBA game. Their NBA is investigating. There's nothing to investigate. You got the video. He became the minority owner in 2013, taking over the share once held by current Sacramento Kings owner Vivek Rendavine, or whatever his name is. Early in the fourth quarter Wednesday, while pursuing a loose ball, he dove into the stands. What's weird is he didn't even hit him. Like, he's off to the side.
Yeah.
This guy gets annoyed just by the fact that Lowry, disrupted the viewing experience of some fans 3 people down from him.
Or made a lot of shots, a lot of big shots.
I think that's the one to go there. I want to give Kyle Lowry a lot of credit, because obviously the second he does what I'm wishing for, he's done. And this gets flipped around. And, yeah, obviously if I own a team or I coach a team or I'm a teammate of a player, I don't want him to beat a fan, because then we lose a very important piece of the puzzle and key player in a run to a championship. I'm just saying from afar, I would like to see fans take ass kickings every time they take it upon themselves to try to confront an athlete for something that they don't like. The guy's too good, making too many shots, dove into the stands to make a play, whatever it might be. Beatings. Just beatings. It would be a glorious thing. Now, for Stevens, he's lucky because Lowry merely glared at him and then yelled over to the referee, Mark Davis, who did listen, but didn't do anything about it. I would have thought I don't know what you do there. I know in the NFL, fans can be penalized because the home team, teams get penalized because of fan behavior.
Yeah.
And while sometimes that seems a little unfair, Tom, you may not remember this. Back in the day, and this was a long time ago, and I don't know if it happened when you were of the age that you were paying attention to pro football, they used to penalize home fans who wouldn't quiet down when the other team had the ball in the red zone.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, if you were backed up onto your own goal line or you were in the red zone, fans went nuts, and a lot of times the quarterback would turn to the refs with his hands outstretched to the sky, palms to the sky, I can't hear, and they would threaten to penalize the fans if they didn't quiet down. Didn't last long.
I've never heard of a that's crazy.
Yeah, you can go look it up. It happened all the time. It used to drive me nuts. I'm like, what are we doing here?
That's the
greatest
point. The greatest moment I've ever been at Doak Campbell Stadium, and just moment, not game, not win, not anything, was the Oklahoma situation when they took the delay of game and they were near the student section. You remember that in 2011?
Yeah.
And how loud that was. The building shook.
It was incredible.
Doak has never shook, man. We were on the roof.
It gave me goosebumps.
With the brick, all that stuff, it was shaking the foundation. I thought there was going to be a problem.
Yeah, those are the moments where you kind of look around and like, well, this is where being here matters. This is where live events matter. We talk all the time about the many ways you can take in a game and how more and more people are choosing to do so by not going. That is what you would miss out on. You can't replicate that. You can't feel that at home watching on your couch on the big screen. That was incredible.
Is still reserved as very special, even though we lost it. And it's not even because like the trick it to Rashad Green play after EJ goes down, first has a hope and a prayer and it was answered. It's because when you walked into that building at 6:45, 7 o'clock for an 8:20 kick,
packed,
it was already buzzing.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was nuts.
Well, maybe that kind of that was a hope thing. That was built upon the fact that we had been so down for so long and we were playing a big name and we felt like we were coming back around and we were starting to matter again and Jimbo was getting it going. And that was more about, is this going to be us getting over the top? Is this going to be about us showing that we belong again?
There was a little bit of that before the kickoff this past year. It wasn't quite as much, but there was
a little bit of that before the Virginia Tech kickoff. And obviously, the players helped out with that because they were bouncing about on the sidelines and waving towels, and they were sure they were about to be lionized. But instead, they were about to be
the black unis were for our funeral.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we never need to break those out again. We never win in them. We look ridiculous. We don't win games in those uniforms. Sometimes they look cool, but I don't.
We got to tighten up that helmet. When are we going to get that contract? That they don't even have to pay us. They just give us some of the gear.
When are we just going to fix everything? We just have such a...
If you look at that spear on the Garnet helmet, for example, it is the complete different.
It doesn't.
It's like mustard.
I know.
And then the face mask and the numbers are white gold.
It's annoying.
We just got to tighten up a whole lot of things around here.
We just are a mess, Tom. We're just bleeding, man. And now I got something in my eye in the middle of the segment. By the way, to put a ribbon on the Lowry situation, I hate that I saw a bunch of headlines today that said Raptors player or Lowry jumps into stands, gets into altercation with fan. Nah, not really.
That suggests he started it.
Yeah, that's not true. He reacted to a fan pushing him who happened to be somebody certainly who should know better as a minority owner of the team. Lowry had this to say about it afterwards. There's no place for that. He had no reason to touch me. He had no reason to reach over 2 seats and then said vulgar language to me. There's no place for people like that in our league. Hopefully he never comes back to an NBA game again. Well done, Kyle Lowry. I didn't know the guy cursed at him, too. See? Ass kickings, Tom. You're going to push and curse at a guy?
Yeah.
That's 3 times your
go
size?
Joe Pesci on you, you know?
Ooh. Ass kickings.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Yelling at you in my car. I love emails that begin this way because I envision that is a frequent occurrence. Jeff, email. They didn't kill iTunes. All of your previous library of songs will still be there. All of the functionality will still be there. They just separated podcasts, movies, TV shows into separate apps. Peace and go Braves. No. Peace, yes. Go Braves, no. That's from Darren. Thank you, Darren. I appreciate that. You weren't the only one who emailed, and you weren't the only one who tweeted something similar. Several people went, no. Hey, Cameron, easy, killer. You're all right. Your stuff's still going to be there, man. They just move some stuff around. You know why I was ignorant to all of this? Is that, and why that point eluded me, is that while I do listen to podcasts, I listen to podcasts on a podcast app. I have, many different ways in which I listen to podcasts. Stitcher is one. Then there's the actual purple podcast app thingy.
Yep.
I do that. I don't ever do it on my iTunes, if you will. And I don't watch movies on iTunes ever. I don't download movies there. I don't know. What are we doing? No.
That's not what we do.
That's not what we do. I've got the Xfinity On Demand feature. I've got Amazon Prime On Demand. By the way, you know that. Little plug here for our friends at Xfinity.
Yeah.
If you have Amazon Prime, you can now just say it into your voice mic there and say...
yeah, just like Netflix.
Yeah. It's just your voice controller, yeah.
The reason that's awesome is because it comes through the coax cable, so you have the best
Damn
quality
right.
signal.
It's perfect, yeah. So, I just say Amazon Prime, and it goes boom, boom, boom. There's all my movies and stuff there, and plus I got Netflix, same thing. So I'm not watching anything on no movies on iTunes. I'm not doing that. TV shows, what are we doing? No. So I didn't even know people did that, and then they complained about how clunky it got. Well, Jesus, you got every possible thing on there. It can't operate like that.
So I guess what you're campaigning for is for the term iTunes to persist and continue.
Yes, I don't know why. It's near and dear to my heart. Leave it alone. But I got several of these emails, and it made me laugh. People were like, come on, man. You sounded distraught, and here I was yelling at you in my car. It's fine. Your stuff's not going away. I got up this morning, and I purposely opened up my iTunes.
The Pirates keep pounding on the Braves.
That was just for the Go Braves part.
Yeah. We'll keep that clip forevermore, by the way.
The Pirates keep pounding on the Braves.
I forgot how annoying her voice was. Play that again so I can hear it.
The Pirates keep pounding on the Braves.
Here we go.
That was the deets of the day.
Yeah, there was a run there for a while where they struggled mightily to find the... Well,
in the wake of Bob Picosi, calling it a day. But they now with Kevin Winter and Christine Lisi, there you go.
Kevin Winter loves that role. He couldn't be more excited, right, than to talk about what happened. Everything is ratcheted up to 10.
Remember towards the end of Bob's career, he never could get out on time. They play like the stinger at the end, and he'd still be reading.
And we envisioned a program director in a ponytail walking in going, How long, Bob? How long?
Yeah, with purple sunglasses.
Yeah. He's like, hey, baby, how long we been doing this? It's a hard out. It's a hard out.
We really don't need to know what's happening
with
in the
Maria
quarterfinals of the freaking of the Spanish Open. Bob, we don't need it. We don't need it.
Yeah.
You could have just ended with the Girardi notes.
Yeah. By the way, you can, if you'd like, you can play him struggling through Guguzela or whoever he was trying to say. Didn't she go on to win the whole damn thing at some point?
Garbine Muguruza.
That's Muguruza. And yes, she's won at least one.
I forgot just how locked in he was. He was going to get that.
Garbine Muguruza. This is in connection with an ongoing investigation into a sex scandal. A former escort claiming that escorts were paid to strip for and have sex with players and recruits.
I miss him.
Is that like bold in all caps?
The emphasis on which words. That's good stuff.
This is in connection with an ongoing investigation into a sex scandal. A former escort claiming that escorts were paid to strip for and have sex with players and recruits.
Like sex was 36 point font?
Yeah, he was like, oh, they really want me to emphasize the sex.
Garbine Muguruzaru.
I always pictured him throwing the sheet when he got done with it. This is ridiculous. Why did you hand me this?
I told you, phonetics, guys, phonetics.
This is ridiculous.
Mugu Ruth.
New England Patriots quarterback, as we don't seamlessly segue, but we do segue.
Garbine Muguruzaru.
Exactly. Expressed regret for applying to trademark the term Tom Terrific. You know, if you just stop there, is there anything more Tom Brady than that? The things that annoy you about Tom Brady? That would be under the heading. Things Tom Brady would do that make him a you-know-what.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'll read that opening line from Mike Reese's article. New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady expressed regret for applying to trademark the term Tom Terrific. What are you doing? Jesus. What are we doing here?
That's like the Happy Gilmore line about the guy wearing the golf pants. If I said that, I'd have to kick my own butt.
Explaining Thursday that his intention was to ensure people didn't refer to him by that nickname. Brady's request had drawn the ire of the New York Mets fans, as Hall of Fame pitcher Tom Seaver has long been known as Tom Terrific.
Yes, for decades.
Now 74 years old as Mr. Seaver, won a World Series with the Mets in 1969, improbably, and was named the National League Cy Young Award winner 3 times over his 20-year career. Quote, "It's unfortunate. I was actually trying to do something because I didn't like the nickname, and I wanted to make sure no one used it because some people wanted to use it. I was trying to keep people from using it, and then it got spun around to something different than what it was. Good lesson learned, and I'll try to do things a little different in the future." All right, so here's what I think. I think he's lying. I think he wanted to trademark Tom Terrific because he thinks it's cool. Not that he thinks it's a bad thing.
Yes, why would you trademark something so people couldn't use it?
He thinks it's cool, and he couldn't wait to use it. But luckily for him, or maybe not so luckily because they could have done their job a little sooner, his PR people, his spokesman, his right-hand man, his agent, somewhere along the way entered a room and said, "Tom, I hate to tell you this. Tom Terrific sounds very douchey. You sound ridiculous. It's like when you wear those shoes that I always tell you to stop wearing. Or when you get certain kinds of weaves that seem preposterous."
Right.
You know,
and the other thing to note here is that Tom Brady thought it was original, like it had never been used before.
Well,
I want to be known as Tom Terrific.
Right. He's suddenly Donald Trump.
No, that wasn't Trump. That was just
I'm saying he is suddenly. That's exactly what that doofus would say. Yeah, so it's just
well, that wasn't a Trump impression.
Yeah.
Because Tom Brady, man, he doesn't sound as smart
as he probably is,
especially when it comes to football, reading defenses. I mean, there's a lot of complexities there at the NFL level.
Yeah. No, it's funny. He said he didn't want people. He was asked a follow-up question on the topic, which I'm sure made him squirm, and I'd like to see the video from this because as he's lying about this has to get uncomfortable the more people follow up on his alleged motivation for all of this. I was trying to do it because I didn't like the nickname, and I wanted to make sure nobody used it. Okay. So somebody rightfully followed up and asked him another question, and he said, "I didn't want people associating me with that. I don't like the nickname. I don't like when people give me nice compliments. Certainly that. It wasn't something I was trying to do out of any disrespect or ill manner or anything like that." Okay.
Yeah. I think my point is made. What the hell does that even mean?
That's gibberish.
Yes.
That's just gibberish.
When he was he did some sort of panel interview. Remember, he was sitting on a stage. And
I remember
it's that
this.
awkward setup.
Yeah.
You know, and the guy wants to ask him about the Deflategate. And the way he responds, he sounds like Mr. Tipton and My Cousin Vinny talking about the grits.
Yeah.
Because he goes, "I don't know. What do you guys think?" Like, oh, my God.
It didn't make any sense.
I think Gronk might do better on the Wonderlic.
Quote, by the way, he stayed away from voluntary workouts. He was asked about that. That's more in his comfort zone. And he did note, "I have a family at home, and they get some of my time and energy. My wife is a very ambitious woman, and she travels a lot, so I'm just trying to divide some responsibility at home. She supports me a lot. My family supports me a lot. My kids aren't getting any younger, so just trying to spend the time with them when I can and still get the other things done that I need to get done and be ready for when it's time to go."
Okay.
It's very long-winded, but yes. They
get some of my time and energy. Is that what he said?
Yeah,
well, good for them.
That's good.
Yeah.
I would tell you this, though. Reporters ask ridiculous questions. I mean, he's 41 years old. He's the greatest quarterback in the history of football. Maybe that's arguable. Maybe it's not. He's certainly in the conversation. And he skipped voluntary workouts. It's not the first time he skipped voluntary workouts. It's worked out all right for him.
Sure
why
has.
are you asking him questions about why he missed voluntary workouts?
You know what he's the smartest at? Time efficiency. In terms of getting the ball out, the smallest movement possible, the least amount of movement possible to get the ball in the ready position and out of his hands. Like, they could have an awful offensive line and we wouldn't know it because he's just so damn good at getting rid of the damn football.
Well, and I'm tired of it. And he says he wants to play till he's 45.
He wanted that nickname so bad.
He did. I love that he tried to reverse it because he knows everybody thinks it's ridiculous, and somebody did at some point walk in there and go, Tom, you don't want to do this. You sound ridiculous.
Plus, it's Seavers.
The kind of stuff that you get made fun of for, Tom. This is what makes it – this is why you're a doofus.
It was cool
Don't do that.
in the 60s and 70s because they could put it on a newspaper.
Right.
They don't have newspapers anymore.
I mean, Tom, this is not the era of black and white. It's not cheesy dialogue in movies. What are you doing?
It should be.
Simpler times. I didn't want anybody else to use it because you wanted to use it. You couldn't wait. You were going to have Tom Terrific stamped on everything.
Right. It's the TB12 and Tom Terrific method.
Jeff Cameron Show.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Now, this makes sense. I always thought about this and wondered why more teams or coaches didn't do it. But Bruce Arians changing things up, said he plans to hold training camp practices at different times of the day to try to get his team accustomed to a number of different kickoff times. Said he plans to have practices start from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and some as late as 6:30 p.m. The Bucs will play 4 games in the 4 p.m. hour in 2019, including 3 of their first 4. They also play an 8:20 game during that stretch on Thursday night, and that does not include the Bucs' Week 6 game in London, which will kick at 9:30 a.m. local time. We're going to mix it up, said Arians. We don't want to get into that dead routine and not being able to match up when the game comes around. All right, fair enough. I don't know how much this helps this far out, but
I was always a proponent, and I think it's the TV networks that get in the way. But this bugs me, and I make an annual gripe about it. That whenever we go to the West Coast, of course we have to play at 4 o'clock. But when West Coast teams come here, why do we play at 4?
Yeah.
Why can't we force those a-holes to play at 1 o'clock so
That's
we have
right.
a true advantage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's right.
I get it out there, buddy.
I mean, it happened to Stanford, Northwestern. Take a look at that. I mean, who was it?
11 a.m. for them.
It was the body clock game.
That's right, the body clock game.
That's what the playoff committee was talking about. If you look at it,
they've always got to find something.
All things being equal, I mean, you got to consider their body clock.
Game control.
Right. So when San Francisco comes to town for the opening week, make them play at 1. Get your ass up early, West Coasters. Let's go.
Bucs' schedule is a bear following their Week 3 4:05 kickoff against the Giants at Raymond James Stadium. They won't play a game in Tampa for the next 5 weeks until a Week 10 home game against the Cardinals. By the way, I will say this. I'm going to guarantee a victory over the Giants at Raymond James Stadium at 4:05 in Week 3. Okay. If you said pick one game on the Bucs' schedule, you are 100% certain, or at least you'll feign that you are, that they're going to win. I'm picking that game. The Bucs will win that game, and I actually think the Bucs are going to win that game handily, Tom. Handily. Mark it down. Bold prediction.
Mark it 8.
Bold endeavor.
Is it? It's not a bold. We're hosting the Giants.
It's June, and I'm telling you, that's a blowout. We're beating that ass. Week 3, the Giants are going down.
Here's my bold prediction. On October the 27th, when we travel to Tennessee for a 1 o'clock kick up in Nashville, Mariota's going to be hurt. Won't be playing that game.
He will be injury prone. Yes, that's
lock that in.
He may be hurt right now. By the way, I'll read that again just because it does piss me off, and we've talked about it probably more than we need to because it's not going to change. But after that win against the Giants, after that guaranteed win over the Giants in Week 3, they won't play a game in Tampa until Week 10. What are we doing here, man? That is insane.
They go from L.A. back to Central Time to play the Saints.
They also play Seattle.
And then they go on the road to England to play the Panthers. Then they get a week off. And then they go to Nashville, out to Seattle, and then back home to Tampa.
Ridiculous. What were they doing? They just decided,
There's there's something that I would normally say in this situation that I can't.
They just thought they don't care about the Tampa Bay Bucs, and we don't give them much of a reason to care. But I mean, that is clearly they're just like,
One of the words is triple.
They did. I mean, Arians.
Arians
has got to look at that. What the hell are they doing?
They tripled us.
I mean, that was. But the problem, Tom, is that was without warning too. We didn't even get a warm up. It was just like, whoa. Hey, what's going on here, man? That thing dropped, and we were like, wait, that can't be our schedule. That's not our schedule, is it?
There it is.
I mean, can you imagine the moment that happened? Oh, the schedules are out. Well, what in the world? This is absurd.
We have Terry Collins' reaction to the schedule for the Buccaneers dropping as he's been advocating for Tampa.
Terry, then you talk to me about that. You gotta give us a shot. You know what? You gotta give us a shot. Okay, listen to me. Let me hear what I'm saying, okay? You get your shot. You had your shot right there in the situation. Well, why not? You know the situation, Terry. Why don't we get a shot, Tommy? Because that makes it worse. Terry, that makes it worse. I know it. But MLB did nothing to that guy. Nothing. Okay, that I can't. Terry, I can't control that. You know as well as I do. You know where I stand on the whole situation. But that's you're better than that, Tommy. You know that. Terry, listen, I'm telling you, our ass is in the jackpot now. Okay? Okay, I'm just telling you. You know what? That's you got it.
Okay, I'll live with that. Got it. Yes.
God, I want to meet Terry Collins.
It's just the best. Why? He's about to cry. Oh yeah, every time we play that with the dramatic music, I do. It's a cheesy scene. He was just told that. I guess at this point they've taken your boy out to the garage.
Critics are raving. Terry Collins is inspirational.
Yeah, they brought him to the garage. Now the call's been made. He's got the payphone, beating the payphone over and over again. Ray Liotta's in the diner like, what? Why is Terry beating up the payphone?
He just got off with Tommy.
Yeah.
He's better than that.
He's so mad. I do love the who's just resigned to wear it. He's like, yep, oh, okay. That last MFer, he's just like, oh, all right.
He's like, you know me. Yeah. He's like, I do.
And you're better than that. And then he gets, it's like, Jeff, why are you MFing me? We're friends. We disagree about this thing. You just called me that. But I do love you, Tom. I know that. But listen.
You know what? Actually, I'll bet you that is eerily similar to a transcript of like Jimbo in the offices because we had to play Pitt on a Monday night to start the season.
Yeah, there's no doubt. He's bringing Monk in to have a conversation.
Yeah.
But what do you want me to do?
Terry, then you talk to me about that. Okay.
You gotta give us a shot.
You know what?
You gotta give us a shot.
Okay, listen to me and let me hear what I'm saying.
And then Monk goes, we can beat Pitt, Coach. I mean, it's just like, come on. We're going to beat Pitt.
That's actually it. Because he would say that. You got to give us a shot.
Yeah.
It's Pitt.
Yeah, it's Pitt.
Our week 2 is with,
we're going to be all right.
Chattanooga.
He's throwing something off the desk. Final hour, fourth coverage. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. Sometimes you do. And when you do, go get caught up. You know that. All 3 hours get posted upon the conclusion of the show, both to iTunes, where you can rate, review, and share with your friends. Also on our website, in the archived audio. Email the show if you want, jcs@979espnradio.com. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. Well, it's starting to look like Toronto is going to be your NBA champion. I mean, goodness gracious. It's certainly beginning to get a feel of that. Now, Clay has to come back healthy. You know, we talked yesterday, Tom. We didn't know his status. He was a game-time decision. When he didn't play, I think we both knew they were going to lose. Steph could go crazy, and he did. But they didn't have anything else for him. And Toronto is able to score, and they're getting consistently great performances from guys outside of Kawhi Leonard right now with Siakam and Gasol and Ibaka. They're just, these guys are picking Lowry.
It's a shooting gallery for Lowry and Green last night. Yeah.
Getting looks. So they're playing really well. It really is a matter of Golden State getting healthy, and I just don't know. I mean, in some cases we know they aren't, but Clay and KD would be a help. They would be a help.
Yeah, I had a feeling that they would land the first haymaker last night. I thought Golden State would respond. Obviously, I envisioned the game with Klay Thompson being on the court. And Golden State kind of did, but for, about a 5-6 minute stretch in the second quarter where Toronto scores, I think it's 5 points. This thing would have been a blowout the whole way, but that made it interesting.
Right.
And certainly so did Steph Curry scoring
105 points.
Right. Especially, most of them in the first half, too, just to keep them in that game. But overall, it looks like a very easy, efficient game for Toronto last night, even though they're shooting otherworldly to start out from beyond the arc, hitting all their free throws early until Kawhi misses one in the second quarter.
Which is also rare.
It looks easy for them right now.
Well, they're also brimming with confidence.
It's a completely different series if KD comes back, and that's, I know it's obvious, but that's just the truth of it. If this is the Golden State roster that is going to be on the court for the remainder of the series,
Toronto's
I'll be surprised.
Win.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if it goes 7. It's probably over in 6.
It may be over in 5 if that's the roster. I mean, if you're telling me Clay doesn't come back, then they're done. They'll lose in 5. It's just too easy to take away everything else. And you're asking guys who just aren't capable of carrying a team.
Well, and the brutal thing is they actually have a normal rest for the next game. It's Friday. We're not waiting until Sunday. They don't have all this time to prepare between games. So what Steph did last night had to drain him. I mean, Jesus, he tried to carry them by himself, and they didn't take him out until, 30 seconds left, a minute left.
Yeah, Clay will have to come back. They did get Draymond going there, and, he's tough. So you just need to give him one other guy, and I think if it'd be Clay. We were right to suspect that Boogie wouldn't carry over, and I want Clay to be back because I want a series. This is starting to get to be where you have just too many injuries to overcome, and it's really not a fair estimation of or evaluation of what this finals could be. This would be a shame for both teams, I think. Toronto would get this title, and they've played well, and obviously they had to come back from down 2-0 to Milwaukee with the MVP on the other side. So they deserve credit for playing the way that they have. But they won't get their just due now. They don't care, I doubt. I mean, they'll be able to raise the banner.
Especially if it helps them keep Kawhi.
Yeah, hoist the trophy. And that's nothing that those people would have ever predicted at the start of the season. So they'll take it. But in a lot of ways, it will always be the title. Everybody goes, well, yeah, I guess you won the title. That's what will happen to them if all these injuries persist with Golden State. And that's a shame because, we don't know. They might have won anyhow.
Well, when Kawhi was in a Spurs jersey a couple of years back and Zaza closes out too close to him, who knows? Maybe the Spurs win that series, and so Golden State doesn't go on to win another NBA title.
Yeah, it would have changed everything.
Stuff happens.
While we're in a basketball mode here real quick, I'll get this out there because 2 things. First of all, we're traveling tomorrow. You will get content. I've reminded you of that throughout the day, but we will have some fresh content, some recycled content, but you'll get it all, a little hodgepodge, if you will, for tomorrow's show while we're driving to Baton Rouge. I'm looking forward to that trip. Maybe not the drive per se, but certainly the The Butterflies are starting. I'm excited about that game, that series. I want to see how this team responds. It was fun talking to Mike yesterday. If you missed that interview, we will run that tomorrow because he seems obviously ready to go and excited to watch his hitters continue a stretch right now where they're really locked in.
They have their formula, and win, lose, or draw this weekend. They figured it out last week, and I think the coaching staff, the way they communicate to the players, game plans for how to approach pitching, and certainly confidence level, they're feeling as high as they have all season long.
Yeah.
And they're 1 win away from 42 wins away from going to Omaha, and that is amazing.
Buddy, it'd be fun to watch it happen. Let's hope it does, knock on wood. But we do have basketball news regarding Florida State, and I'm excited about this. I know it's the offseason, and I know people aren't thinking about FSU basketball right now. But for the first time in the 21-year history of the ACC-Big Ten Challenge, FSU will be facing off against Indiana. All right. Game to be played at historic Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana, and I, for one, would love to go to that. I've been to a game in that basketball arena, and to my right, about 4 rows down, was John Mellencamp.
Oh, really?
That's right. I had a girl.
Cougar?
He was Cougar back then. I had a girl that I dated in high school that went on to write for the USA Today and the Seattle Post-Intelligencer, but she got her journalism degree from IU, and I went up to visit her and went to a game.
Who'd they play? Sisters of the Poor kind of a thing?
Yeah, it was a non-conference.
What'd you think of the building?
It's old. Historic.
It was old back then.
Yeah,
Ooh,
but
boy.
it was. I didn't think about it until I read the news that we were playing them there, and I thought, God, I got to go back. I think I have a picture. I'm fairly certain I have a picture just outside that arena before we walked in that we took a picture, and it was her freshman year at IU. I remember that. It was exciting. I was like, oh, this is cool as hell. Because you grow up, Hoosiers, the movie, and certainly I remember Indiana winning the national title and Keith Smart.
It's all fresh and new, too. I feel like freshman year, we are willing to go find our friends from high school.
Yeah, you go do it.
Because you haven't fully, set your roots down at your university of choice. So you hop on a plane or a train or whatever to go, see new places. And because it's all the magic. That first year of college is quite amazing.
Well, once I got hurt, I got lonely. I was like, what am I doing here? So any chance I had to go see people elsewhere, that's the first time I ever went up to UVA. I went to Virginia and visited my buddy Louis Morales, who graduated from UVA. And I went to that campus. I drove there from Johnson City. And I remember going on that campus going, this is a considerably nicer campus than mine. This is well done, Louis.
When I realized that I was so very close to Manhattan and Mets games, and I couldn't go because the train system doesn't go late enough. And I didn't have a car.
That hurt.
And a cab ride cost you like $100,
man.
It's like being Tantalus. That's when I started going other places. You're damn right.
Noles last faced the Hoosiers in the preseason NIT in November of 1992. That's how far back you got to go. We lost that game in overtime, 81-78 in the semifinals at Madison Square Garden, and we were without the services of Charlie Ward. We shall get revenge in 2019. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
have my old friend David Hale on the program again here in the not-too-distant future, as does a great job covering the ACC, covering college football, but he's always in tune, obviously, with Clemson. And I saw a tweet from him early this morning, and I just thought, damn it, man. This is just wrong. But it's heartbreaking to look at what Clemson's putting together right now. This is a remarkable run. And part of the problem is that they've done a lot of this without that, I guess you'd call it, signature class, you know? I mean, they've had good classes.
They've had signature players, though.
Without question. But if you go back and look at recruiting rankings and you look at, their annual haul, you kind of say to yourself, it's a good class. Anytime you're recruiting top 10 classes, that's good. But there haven't been those Alabama moments, Ohio State moments where you go, or even for Jimbo in a couple of those years where you go, woo, we just put together a class for the ages, And now they are. Now they're putting together an absurd class. The rankings and the stats and the numbers and the 5-star, they're just pulling away from us. They're pulling away from the rest of the ACC. And I get that these things, they change quickly. They turn at the drop of a hat. It takes a moment of dysfunction. It's an injury. It's something that gets in the way. Look, we could have never predicted. I'm not going to rehash all of this, but we all know what we were after 2013. We all know what we were, even to some degree, after 2014. We were certainly seen as the benchmark, the cornerstone of the ACC, one of the best 4 programs in the country, an annual contender to probably make the college football playoff and compete for a national championship. And then all of a sudden, we weren't. Not only were we not, but we had crashed and seemingly gone from king of the hill to outside the top 25. That felt overnight, Tom. That felt like it happened very, very quickly because it did.
Well, I think if you looked at this from the perspective of somebody who's a Big Ten fan, Big 12 fan, you'd say that it looks like a Bill Parcells situation where Parcells flipped a lot of NFL franchises quickly, got them to win big, and if they didn't win a Super Bowl, he'd get them to a Super Bowl, or they'd win divisions where they were winning 3 or 4 games. And then what happened in the wake of when he was gone? Total disaster. Kind of like Urban Meyer with the Florida program. They won big, and then they were a total disaster. If you look at it from that perspective and say, what did Jimbo do? Well, Jimbo built us overnight, and then he destroyed us overnight. And now we're trying to pick up the pieces.
Well,
I think the more distance we have from his departure in 2017, the clearer it becomes that he built us, he made us, and then he let us linger and implode.
By the way, the reason I bring this up is not to rehash, the things we're lacking, the frustration I feel, but there is a sense of urgency here. We probably can't talk about it enough. This is a vitally important season for Willie Taggart because you don't have the time to sit around. You can't let this thing grow and grow and grow. It doesn't look like Clemson's going anywhere. Brent Venables is not leaving Clemson anytime soon. He's got kids playing there now. Dabo just signed a mega deal. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. Their recruiting is ratcheting up as their successes continue. You can get buried. You can be, you might end up turning the program around to where you're the second best team in the Atlantic, but you could be light years away from where Clemson is if things don't improve immediately. So when we say, hey, look, a little 8-win season and things will be all right, keep in mind that's an incredibly low standard, A, for here, B, for what's necessary to get kids excited about the program again. I say 8 wins minimally. If anything less than that, it's going to be hard to get the necessary momentum to get this turned around and catch up to Clemson in any relatively, decent amount of time. I mean, who wants to wait 7 years? I mean, I'm talking about trying to get to where you can have this, a real conversation centered around that game this upcoming season, a year or two from now, to where there's some intrigue. Right now, it's just, okay, understood. We're not playing for the division.
Yeah, we got to work on ourselves.
Yeah, right. We're doing some things here before we go back out and date. This is like, okay, I'm cutting my hair. I'm getting in shape. I'm going to the gym, going to Orange Theory Fitness. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to make it happen. We're doing all this right now with the idea that, hey, man, pretty soon we're going back out into that world. Well, that's what this season is. This is the get right. Okay, now we're presentable. Let's go back out into that world. It has to be. I stopped short of saying that anything less than 8 wins means he's done. But I think in the mind of most fans and people, and I understand there may be an element that's a little bit unfair. That's an easy schedule, Tom. If they go 7-5, man, I don't know.
Depends on how. Losses happen for a reason, injury luck, all that kind of stuff. But I think regardless, even if you have bad injury luck and you win 7 games, you're on the hot seat next year.
Oh, without question. It'd be like the Swan Song. That'd be it.
I think he would have an opportunity, like a fair fighting chance. Now, if he goes 6 or 5 wins, 5 wins for sure. I mean, then it's a Swan Song. 7, you've got a fighting chance for your job, but you've got to do some crazy recruiting in between. Get some players on campus and get going.
You win 5 games this year, and that's it, Tom. I think maybe you fire him right then and there. I don't know that they would, but I would. I would fire him. If he goes 5-7 this year, I'd fire him. Without question. Without hesitation, by the way.
Yeah, the funny thing about that is, and you talk about money and...
there are a lot of other factors. I'm not saying it would happen.
No, but when you're pissed off, you're willing to cut a check. When you're really happy or really mad, you're willing to cut a check. Yeah. At least institutions are. And, I won't, but, they can.
I'd fire him. Right then. That clock would strike 0, and I'd be like, well, sorry, I got to let you go. You can't go back-to-back. No. You got to go.
But I think 7 leaves you in limbo.
You got to let
8 gives you positive momentum.
Yeah, 7 you bring him back.
9 gives you significant positive momentum. It's funny, just we're in baseball season, and you look at week by week. At least if you're a sane individual, you don't want to drive yourself nuts.
Kind of series by series, week by week.
Yeah, exactly. Situations. I mean, because sometimes you could be playing against a mediocre team, but it's 3, 4, 5 in your rotation. So if you lose 2 out of 3 in that, you got
happens. Yeah.
But in football, I mean, it's not breaking news or anything, but you get 12 of them. That's it, 12 games.
They're all critical, man.
And, the difference between 8 or 9 is so massive in our minds, but it's just one game. It might be fumble luck in that one game.
Might be. You can't – you're right. How you lose or how you win certainly matters. They got to play well. I mean, I sound so simplistic and like a broken record. They just got to play well.
That's where we are.
Yeah, but it's true, though. They got to play well.
We're not trying out for calculus here, man. We want some algebra.
I mean, I need you to just play well so I can have some faith, and and so that players can too, and so that there's a trust that is built in with the process. I hate to bring that up again, but every time a new boss comes into any work situation, there is a process by which they gain trust of their employees and the vision that they have. And if the first year that they're there, things don't run smoothly, people walk around the office kind of looking at each other, the conversation and muttered under their breaths at lunchtime, kind of like, you think Steve knows what he's doing? I mean, I'm starting to look around. What do you think? You put your resume out there? I don't know if this is going to work. But if it does start to turn around, the company's making money, everybody, all right, I think Steve's got this going. Okay, a little shaky at first, but all right, I see Steve working. Well, that's kind of where we're at. We're at the office cafeteria there, kind of looking at each other like, well, I want to believe in this guy. We got to give him a fair shake because the last guy really screwed us, but need to see some signs that the company's moving in the right direction. That's the conversation every Florida State fan's having. They're having it on beaches on vacation. They're having it in their cars. They're having it at the workplace.
Baton Rouge this weekend.
Yeah, they're having it on the phone with their, fellow Knowles, kind of, where you at with this group? And the problem with being in limbo is it's just an uncomfortable feeling. It's every time I read a headline like this, I'm looking, this stems again from a tweet in which Pro Football Focus tweeted out Clemson will have a 1-2 punch in Justin Ross and T. Higgins, and they were talking about their numbers from last season.
Oh,
right?
my God, Ross by the end of the year.
And I'm looking at those numbers, and then I thought to myself, much as David tweeted out, good thing they don't have an elite running back and the country's best quarterback and 2 5-star wide receivers, too. Yeah, well, right? I mean, They've got all of that and more, and they're about to sign the class of the century. This is absurd.
Yeah, I remember it was garbage time. I don't know why I was still watching it, but it was Clemson-Louisville in Louisville, and Clemson was wiping the floor with them, such that Travis Etienne, as a true freshman, comes in the game.
And you went, oh,
it's
no.
a toss pitch, and I watched that guy go from 0 to 60 like Chris Thompson would, except he's bigger and stronger and faster. And I was like, oh,
this is
who is this guy?
What are we doing here?
Who the F is this guy? And I remember I put it on Twitter because I felt lonely, Jeff, because we were, as a program, not doing so well. And there was Clemson doing quite well. And people were saying, well, it's garbage time. I'm like, nah, man, that guy's different. Great. And they're going to pair him with whoever the next quarterback is. And the next quarterback happened to be Sunshine and this freaking guy. If he could go, could the NFL reclassify? Could we just change the NFLPA regulations on removal from high school? 2 years?
Yeah.
Can we change it from 3 to 2?
Take it on down the road.
Let him go number 1 overall.
Well, it's these are tough times, man. We are not only did we get passed over by several teams in the conference, not just Clemson.
Most of them.
Yeah. Not only did that happen, but the team that we're most consistently tasked with beating didn't get a little bit better. They went into warp speed, and, this is now like you can't even find them on the screen.
We're on level footing with Boston College over a 3-year trend. I mean, think about that.
No, I don't want to think about that. That's terribly hurtful. Yeah. No, it's not good. It's not good. The schedule will help out. I mean, if they're competent, merely competent, I really think you win 7-8 games just by being competent. God forbid you take a big step forward and actually play well.
Well, they're going to play harder for the quarterback. You think you've got a much smarter offensive line coach. And
they've taken to him, too. And they got some kids with some what-for that have come in and changed the attitude there. They may not be strong enough yet, but that's happened,
Dent is
too.
a true freshman at the corner. He's got that kind of Greg Reed what-for to him.
No, the locker room shift is real. There's been a sea change there. You've got leaders in this group, and you've got some talent in this group, too. I mean, so often when we talk about leadership, I get it. I can see the people rolling their eyes because that's what you talk about when you don't have talent is, oh, these are good kids. They go to class. We got good grades. Good leadership out there. Can we win some games? But this is no, we got kids that can play.
Yeah, but we've just watched infighting for the last 3 full seasons.
But we just don't have time to heal it in the way that you want to. It's got to be now, and you got to be able to play. I get it. It's important to change culture, and it doesn't shift overnight, but we're going into year 2. So let me see that. You miscalculated in year 1. Let's go. You got to win some games while fixing the culture. You can't be getting the locker room right while we lose more games because the gap is growing.
Yeah, we'll see what the players do this year on defense especially. I think obviously they're going to be more organized on offense. They just might not be good enough on the line.
Well, that is the problem. Yeah, they probably won't be good enough against good teams, but they don't play many good teams.
But to follow, right, and they don't play them back-to-back ever on that schedule. But just looking at more in depth our discussion yesterday, we're talking about Harlan Barnett. And I really do feel like, and I hope it's not the case because I like Harlan.
You don't think?
I think we're in the midst of like he's overhauling everything over a 2-year span. Like this was the offensive overhaul. There's going to be a defensive overhaul next year. It just feels that way to me. Like he didn't get what he wanted at all out of his initial staff, and so he's biding his time for another year. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But I think if it's a close call, this just feels like he's ready to switch out the pieces for the defensive staff. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope they show out and have a great year. But it's just kind of – don't you feel that in the air a little bit?
Well, I certainly don't think he was happy with the way they played last year. And that's where that worry stems from is that they didn't play well last year in most segments. But
if you're like needling your defensive coordinator in year 1 before you play a full game, like even one, you get out of the spring game and it's fall camp and we're talking about we're not teaching them the right things or we're teaching them too much. I mean, that's a hell of a way to start a relationship.
Yeah, I wouldn't appreciate it. I wouldn't like being rolled under the bus like that, publicly, thrown out on Front Street there like that. You could pull me in your office and say, listen, I think we're overwhelmed.
Is my ass in the jackpot? We haven't played Virginia Tech yet.
I mean, yeah, I would have walked in and said, look, I'd appreciate if you put your arm around me and tell me you need to have a talk and come in and shut the door and say, hey, I think we're throwing too much at them right now. I want you to dumb it down starting this week. This is all they need to know. Just tell me that. You don't need to tell
you don't need to big time me.
Yeah, you don't need to tell the press that. But I don't know because he says things. I do like how transparent Willie is. I do like that he is a straight shooter. I do like we're so used to the other regime. There was a lot of code in that, and a lot of a whole lot of talking, not saying a damn thing. Willie will tell you what he's thinking, and that's good and bad. And I think that's just a different style. I get it. I think if I were a coach and I was on the wrong end of that, that wouldn't have felt too good.
It's an interesting year. I mean, everything's on the table this year, obviously, with, you win 5 games, 10 games, anywhere in between. It's an interesting year for Odell and his career path, right? Because now he's coaching the whole defensive line.
I think he'll do a good job.
He was the mercenary of the DMV area, and then obviously, I forget what county it was. Maybe it was Polk. I forget, but he was obviously a superstar in a couple of recruiting areas. And then he had a very limited group where he forged bonds early on in the high school ranks with guys like Timmy Jernigan and Eddie Goldman and True Thompson.
That Timmy Jernigan get was a big one.
But he had a very specific, narrow role. But now you're coaching the whole defensive line, even if it is a 3-4 with the different looks we're going to throw at you. That's a big responsibility, and he could help us drastically. It's just when you bring in a defensive end specialist to coach under Coach Barnett, and then after 1 year you relegate him to special teams and say he's going to be working, less on the defense and more on this other area. There's just a whole lot of moving parts there.
There was so much that screamed dysfunction, and so let's keep in mind that with as upset as we all were last year with the way things went and how poorly they played, how disorganized they seemed to be, how certain things that we deemed to be just basic fundamentals of the game not being executed consistently, which ratcheted up concern. Even if you were in Willie's camp, which I was and am, then you still could admit that there were things that were deeply disturbing about what happened last year, all the while admitting that he inherited a lot more than people realize in terms of the bad. But the very thing we would have wanted to see happen happened. He made changes. He owned it and said, screw it. I won't let pride get in the way of ruining a chance to stay at my dream job. So
he's the exact opposite of Jimbo in that regard, too.
He did do what we would have wanted him to do. I mean, we all would have said at the end of last year, well, you got to do better here, here, and here. We certainly got to do something about special teams. Doesn't appear that you're able to handle both calling plays and also handle the stuff behind the scenes. You better get somebody in here who can help you. Well, they go out and get a guy that obviously would have been a big name anywhere he went. So you get the receivers coach, and of course he's beloved. It's Ron Dugans, who you wanted originally, so you got your guy now, right? And we know he can recruit, and we know he can coach, and we know players play hard for him and love him. You got a new offensive line coach because, frankly, even though the pieces they had to work with they weren't very good, they also weren't coached well last year, period. And so you got a guy his bona fides are not questioned, right? He comes in here and he works hand-in-hand with the OC that you hired, whom everybody was excited about. So you did the things you needed to do. You're starting to take care of stuff behind the scenes, or at least you have a chance to. Apparently there seems to be better chemistry with this group right now. That's the article we referenced earlier this week that Ira wrote, in which Willie openly talks about it. So, okay, now it's just a matter of locker room's better.
Yeah.
You've got some players here. You got an easy schedule. You got to take a big step. That's why I say, Tom, I'm not patient. I don't. We don't have time to be patient.
He's not either. Clearly,
no.
You know what's funny though is this is just his track record. If you want to take it for the satellite view instead of being in the weeds for a moment, things always suck for his first year.
They do.
Let's just look at his record.
And he's always turned it around.
Well,
and his first year at Oregon's good.
Right. Yeah, but things are always, when he has a big job, like a overhaul job, things are...
That would have been a hell of a thing. Guys, if you look at my track record, this year is going to suck. I hope to step out from under that umbrella, but can't promise that I will. We struggle in the early stages of new jobs.
Well, the overly simplistic who were critical of the hire and said, look at his record, that's one thing. But if you look at the trend of how he rebuilds programs, things get worse before they get better. That's the more realistic thing to look at, is that, yes, he leaves every program he's been to in a better place than he found it, by a lot. But it takes him like a year or two to figure out just how bad the program is and what needs fixing.
Yeah, you're right, but I think this one became abundantly clear. Year one. Didn't need 2 years. 1 year. this, obviously was a bit of a cluster. Let's move it on down. You gotta, oh man, the ACC meetings are gonna be so interesting next month. We're going next month.
I just wonder how many guys would he have run off if the APR situation was better? How many guys would he have run off immediately?
Yeah. And that is where you can, to some degree, give him a pass. When those numbers came out and we were the worst in the country, and none of that is under his watch. When that happened, you realized, ooh, he was a little bit more handcuffed than I realized. I knew he was handcuffed, but I didn't think he was handcuffed to that degree. That still doesn't mean you have to start DeAndre Francois at quarterback.
Yeah,
There's still mistakes that are made, but you couldn't just say, have a good day to a number of the bad apples that you had in that locker room, even if you desperately wanted to and knew it was necessary, because your APR would take that big a hit and you were already teetering. You were already on the verge of not being bowl eligible, whether you got there or not.
Yeah, you think about that and the fact that we stopped recruiting, that's a hell of a 1-2 punch.
Well, yeah. Every now and then I come across something or there's a flash, just a moment where I go, this is a big year. I mean, and it gives you pause. You kind of, he really has to have a good year. And then I look at what Clemson's doing and we don't have time.
Yeah, we better be coming back from Charlottesville at minimum 2-1.
You're damn right. Buddy, there's no doubt minimum. And I'd like to argue that you need to be 3-0 there, but Virginia had a fine season a year ago. They are well coached. That's a road game.
We have to travel. They don't.
But the thing I say about that is, again, it's just a reminder that we're light years from where we need to be, because I can't believe I got to sit here and say and concede that 2-1 with the combination of Boise State and Virginia being the thing we fear so close together. We're FSU, and we're sitting here talking about, well, I'll take 2-1 against Boise and Louisiana Monroe and Virginia. Give me those three games. I'll take a 2-1 finish. Can you imagine any premier program thinking like that? Can you imagine Ohio State? You tell Ohio State, you got Boise State week 1, week 3 you got Virginia. And those fans or those players or those people in that athletic department are like, well, I'll take 2-1 there. I know. We got to get there. We got to,
On its face, no, I can't imagine that, but every program has gone through that.
Oh, they have. We're just going through it now, and we're not used to it, and it's just it's brought it.
We're squirming in our seat.
We are. Very frustrating. Come back, wrap it up momentarily.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Still amazed. That dude's been dead for 2 years.
Been 2 years?
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
Feels like a year.
Well, double check it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I shouldn't be so amazed. Maybe he's been dead for like a month. It makes me mad either way, but you're right. It does feel like only a year.
That'll be 2 years in October.
Damn it, man. Yeah, you always notice that too when, I don't know, somebody you love, an artist, whoever it is, when they pass. It's like time speeds up from the moment they pass, because the next time you're reminded of it, invariably, you're astonished at how long it's been.
Yeah. In about 7 weeks' time, Robin Williams will have been gone 5 years.
I was just about to say, it feels like 5 years to me, though. If you had said like 8, I would have been like, well, we're going home. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
5,
No, it does
okay.
feel like 5.
Yeah, it feels like 5.
He might have been useful in these times.
Yeah.
Give us a laugh, man.
Yeah.
Give us a freaking laugh.
A little something. Let's get to some probables on a not so busy evening because of Getaway Day.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Rays, Tigers. Order was restored last night as the Rays shut out the Tigers in dominating fashion. I love how Charlie Morton, post-Pittsburgh, has been one of the more dominant pitchers in all of Major League Baseball while having done nothing in Pittsburgh, despite spending, 10 years there. Unbelievable. Ryan Stanek pitches for the Rays tonight, doesn't he always? They start him every freaking day. Let him pitch an inning, and then Daniel Norris goes for the Tigers. Red Sox, Royals, Ryan Weber, Danny Duffy. Reds, Cards, Anthony DeScalfini, Dakota Hudson.
What?
That can't be right.
Is that a rain delay? Or did they get postponed last night?
Yeah, it must have, right?
Oh, there was a lot of bad weather in the St. Louis area yesterday, in Heartland, all that crap, Northeast.
Well, we remember it because I said Dakota Hudson's a cool name.
Yeah.
That can't be right. So, what's going on here? Am I reading all these wrong? No. Okay.
No, there was some washouts yesterday.
Ryan Weber's going to go for the Red Sox. The Royals are throwing Danny Duffy, as I mentioned. Caleb Smith going for the Marlins. The Brewers will throw Freddie Peralta. By the way, the Marlins have been whooping ass. What is going on down there? Very quietly, they've swept 2 series.
Very quietly, because the only noise in that ballpark is the Clevelander on the left.
That's really kind of shocking. We've got the Rockies and the Cubs, Peter Lambert and Jose Quintana. Freaking Quintana, man. Astros, Mariners, Justin Verlander, Tommy Maloney, and the Yankees and Blue Jays feature J.A. Happ, Edwin Jackson. Can we stop with the Edwin Jackson experiment? He's 0-3 with a 13-22. All right, it's over. It's over.
Get your season tickets now for Blue Jays baseball.
The opposite of Edwin Jackson would be Jose Berrios, who pitches tonight for the Twins. He's really good.
All seats are the price of Edwin Jackson's ERA. That's Edwin Jackson night special for the Blue Jays.
Here's your once-a-week reminder that the Twins are 20 games over 500. The Twins are 20 games over 500.
A 99% chance, according to Fangraphs and other prognosticators, to close out that division.
That's just remarkable. They're 20 games. A lot of people don't even realize they played 20 games this year.
Yeah.
Indians' Trevor Bauer starts tonight. The Orioles and the Rangers, we've got David Hess, Ariel Jurado. A's, Angels, Mike Fiers, Tyler Skaggs, and we wrap it up with the Nats and the Padres, Patrick Corbin and Joey Lucchesi. I was remiss. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the pump. Now tomorrow, it's kind of a weird deal for us. We're on the road. We are Willie Nelson this thing down the road and making our way to Baton Rouge.
Whole lot of I-10 loving for you.
400 plus miles. But we will see you guys in Baton Rouge, and we'll make our way there, get settled in, explore the campus and the eateries and the bars around that fair city, maybe take in some museums. Might even swing a golf club or two. We'll see.
Got to bring those. I got to make my list.
Buddy, you get ready to live in the lap of luxury. Tomorrow, you get your first long-distance ride in the QX80.
That's right.
Craft Nissan, Craft Infiniti on display in full effect as we take this puppy on the road. And I got to tell you, you don't buy the QX80 for gas mileage efficiency. You don't. I mean, so if if you're worried about gas, you can't afford the QX80. So don't worry about that. What I'm telling you is, though, you do buy it for the reason that we're getting in tomorrow.
Yes.
For luxurious travel. It is a fun drive.
In the next hour, I expect to see what the in-drive entertainment will be in row 2 on the video screens.
You might have to keep me engaged here, man. I got to have somebody to bounce ideas off of. Be back there watching Gone with the Wind for 4 hours, and I'm like, what are we doing? I've never seen it, Jeff. Well, we're pulling into Baton Rouge.
He slapped her. What the hell is this? Why the hell did he slap her?
Have you seen Gone with the Wind?
I have not. I have seen the slapping scene, though, because it was in the MGM Studios great movie ride.
Yeah. The Frankly, My Dear, I Don't Give a Damn. That's you see that clip all the time.
Stairs, the rolling stairs in that mansion.
So I have seen various bits and pieces of Gone with the Wind, but never sat down in my lifetime to watch from beginning to end. And I don't know that I plan on it. I don't know that I've heard compelling evidence that I need to do this. It's just an all-time movie, but I don't know.
It's no Lawrence of Arabia, sir.
It doesn't call to me. It doesn't. I have a feeling I'd watch it and go, well, that's disappointing.
Maybe 45 minutes in and say, what am I doing?
Wasting damn time. I got a lot of other. I got Peck and Paw films to catch up on and all kinds of other stuff that I didn't watch that I need to watch. Things that matter. So
I got to see Point Break for the first time.
It's awesome. It's just ridiculously awesome. Maybe you should watch that. I'll listen to it.
All right, so that'll be the in-ride entertainment in the QX80.
You know what? I watched the follow-up, the recent one they did, the remake. You know how they remake everything that was great in the 80s? And they, it was whatever. It doesn't have the same cachet. It doesn't have the cheesiness to it that the first one does that kind of makes it. I will say the bank robbing scenes in the President's Masks in the first one are freaking outstanding. I mean, they're violent. It's awesome.
So there's a bank robbery in this movie?
Several.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
they're a bank robbing gang.
I have no idea what it's about.
They're led by Patrick Swayze, who's a renegade surfer.
I thought there was surfing in it.
There's a ton of surfing in it, but he's a renegade surfer. It's a surf gang. They kind of live on the beach, but they rob banks. And then Keanu is an undercover agent. He has to infiltrate the surf gang.
So what you just did is what somebody did in the 80s to pitch the movie.
Yeah.
With the screenplay in front of them. And then somebody else said,
I like it. I
love it for Swayze.
Keep going. Where else are we going? Who's going to play the undercover agent? Keanu Reeves. Perfect. He seems like a surfer. Right. He would fit right in.
Yeah, Bill and Ted. Perfect for him.
Right. So, anyhow, it's pretty ridiculous, of course, but there's some really kick-ass scenes in that movie. And it's got, what's her face? Lori, what was her name? I don't know. She was in a bunch of movies, and then she was suddenly not in movies. She went away.
While you're looking that up, the things I want to see with Keanu, actually, the John Wick series apparently is wildly entertaining.
I've seen the first two, and they are great.
Really?
Yeah, they're ridiculous, but they're great, yeah. That's absolutely right.
It's like watching the Liam Neeson movies. You know it's going to be stupid and ridiculous.
The original Taken is good.
Taken's good.
Yeah, it's good. Short, sweet, to the point. Lori Petty is who I was thinking of.
Okay.
And I don't know why. See, this is a specific shout-out to Mario. We have weird texts, me and him, and I'm wondering if we've ever debated Lori Petty. I don't think so, but I'm going thumbs up.
Thumbs up, huh?
I don't know why. It's.
I just love how beautifully this segment has gone because it's gone from Tom Petty to Lori Petty.
Yeah, there it is.
With a whole bunch in between.
And now we say goodbye. By the way, Gary Busey's in the first Point Break, too.
He had some chops, man.
He's perfect in this, too. He's a mess. They're cop buddies yelling at each other, the whole deal.
What was he in where he was his secretary was with him in the desk and he gets
yeah, that's the firm.
The firm.
That's the firm. Yeah.
It just feels like it's not part of that movie.
He's got the gun under the table.
Right.
Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, so the deal tomorrow, we're off to travel. You will get content. We will
New
replay.
content.
Yeah, not completely new. Some of it's new. You're going to hear a sampling of the
all new.
sampling of the Scuttlebucks that we did in the return,
Which was good.
It was good, and then we obviously will replay the Mike Martin Jr. interview, which is also good.
Clean that up a little
Clean
bit.
it up
for
a
sound.
little bit, right. He said it was regrettable. He's sorry, and next time it's a landline. He did text.
He usually is a landline, so it's okay.
Yeah. Definitely a landline next time. And then also, we have some other stuff there previewing the game. Mix in some greatest hits in there. It'll be a hodgepodge. It's a little bit of a hodgepodge for us to be able to for us to be able to travel to Baton Rouge, and then hey, listen, hopefully we'll be bringing home a win.
Yeah,
good times.
We'll be back Monday no matter what. By the way,
that is true, and there may be a watch party if they go to Game 3 and it's pushed to Monday at 8:30 at night. We're coming back, and we'll just we'll pick a bar. Somebody wants to
pick a bar, any bar.
Yeah, we'll meet up with you guys. We'll watch that game. We'll watch the Knowles take it to Omaha. I have to start scheduling my next trip. My goodness gracious, it's a busy time. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, and we'll be back live in person on Monday no matter what.